So Defi, we can start with you.
Alrighty, my name is Defiant, and I am from Georgia. I main Hyde and Lond, and I've been playing this game since 2019.
Hey, I'm Foxhove. I'm from Maine or like the Northeast area in general, and I play Vatista and Londrekia. I've been playing since 2018.
Hi, my name's Garfield. I play Hyde, a little bit of Phonon, a little bit of Mika. I'm from East Canada. I'm from Toronto. Yeah.
How long have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing since 2018. Sorry.
Okay. Very good. And Pesto?
Hi, I'm Papa Pesto. I've been playing the game since around clear launch, so early 2020. I main Carmine.
All right, so today we're doing a bit of a pre-launch UNI2 discussion. I thought it would be fun to let people know about the new UNI2 changes, but I thought it'd be even more fun to bring in maybe some familiar faces or players that you've seen play on stream at big tournaments, so to get their input on the new changes. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And the first topic we're going to be talking about is the new thing, Celestial, which is a new state in UNI2 where after you win Vorpal and you have more than 6 blocks when you win Cycle, you instantly get 12 grid blocks, and you also get this Celestial state, which gives you a 30% damage buff, which could lead to a lot of explosive new gameplay. So, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah. So probably you may have seen Isaac posting a 9.4k combo with Hyde. When everything comes together, you've got the Celestial 30% bonus, you've got a VO another 20% bonus on top of that for 50% total. Yeah, you can like really crank out some damage. But it's still gonna be somewhat situational. So actually, all right. Who is the biggest doomer here? All right. Why don't I let you start? Let's start with like the big stuff. Take it away, Defiant.
You want me to hate?
Yeah, please.
I can
Please go
I
for
think
it.
this is such a silly mechanic to add in the game. I think like removing like strip basically like CS is as strong as like it's gonna be so strong.
Real quick for the people. Removing what does strip mean? Let's explain that a bit.
Vorpal stripping, it's when you do a combo and you hit them with VO and it'll strip them of their Vorpal. So you'll lose chain shift and you'll lose the entire state from it.
Yeah.
It's very strong.
Rest in pits, you won't be missed.
Yeah, so if you get hit by Veil off like raw and neutral, you will lose Vorpal still, but if you combo into VO, you will not get your Vorpal state removed, which I think a lot of people like, but
I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of that being removed. But
I used to hate strip. I used to hate strip so much, and then I guess I kind of got comfortable with it. But now I don't even strip that much anyway nowadays. So
interesting. The person with a strip off throw thinks it's
combo throw strip.
I'm a Hyde player.
I really haven't, because I'd rather. I don't know. How I got better at the game was putting myself in those situations, because it'll happen where you'll have nothing and you have to play the mind game. So playing the mind game is important. You shouldn't try to avoid it always, I guess, if you want to get better. So
how do you think like why does the VO strip change matter with Celestial?
Because like it just means that CS is just so strong right now. Vorpal is too strong. Like I think just having CS is already enough. I don't think we need a whole nother damage buff. And then you also get the 12 blocks of grid. And they changed how much meter you get from CSing as well. So like it's too rewarding. It's too rewarding now. It's too good.
They crashed the meter economy. It's insane. The meter economy was already crazy in this current version, and then
meter inflation.
Meter inflation.
It's
That's
insane.
exactly what it is. If you change shift celestial, those 12 grid blocks turn into what 240 meter if you're not canceling it
Yeah,
into
so
like a special move.
another
So
change
you
they
get
did. Sorry, real quick. Just another change they did is that normally when you change shift and convert grid blocks into meter, you are capped at 120 meter maximum conversion, but they removed that cap.
yeah, so you can absolutely have more meter than you know what to do with when you change shift in celestial. But so here's now that we've like kind of got the well, all right, actually, are you done hating? Or is I don't want to like,
I'm not done hating. I'm not done hating.
All right,
I was
Clear
also
the court.
gonna
Clear
say,
the court.
please continue.
Shield is broken. D buttons in French red games are broken. So like, I feel very suspicious about some. Like, I'm worried about my character, obviously, because
Yeah.
this character gives away. This is the grid giver. My character gives away a lot of grid to do shit. To do
The
stuff.
giver.
Yeah, like one of the grid givers in this game. If you want to do fun stuff, but like you can't because if you give them Celestial, you're gonna die. Hyde is one of the lower health
Yeah, if you press
characters in the
high
game.
2-2-C, they just get
Yeah,
instant celestial.
you're
The
winning
shield
Celestial.
accelerates the cycle as well, right? So
Yeah,
it's gonna be strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garm just mentioned Vorpal actions like shielding slightly increase the timer on the Vorpal cycle, or I should say, it makes you proceed through the Vorpal cycle just a little bit faster. So if you're shielding over and over and over, yeah, you're like whittling down that timer too. You're getting closer and closer to getting celestial that way too, time and grid. So yeah, I agree. Shielding will be quite strong. So here's the thing, though. We're gonna have a lot more meter in general. Like we already have a lot of meter, but we're gonna have even more with this mechanic. But there is a big limitation to it. A big limitation to CS usage and using it defensively, and that's the changes to guard thrust, the alpha counter.
Yeah.
So you can no longer use Vorpal state to do an alpha counter for free. In the current version, like let's say I'm holding on to Vorpal and I'm pressuring my opponent in the corner, and I kind of want to give them a big gap in pressure to just like, okay, just press if you want, And so they press into me and they're like doing a gapless block string because they don't want to get like CS reversal, right? So they're just pressing buttons in the corner, just trying to, create some pushback or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, never mind. You're done with that. And I guard thrust. And what happens is the Vorpal goes away from me, but it also removes all of their grid blocks on hit. And so we're both back to like grid neutral, except I have them in the corner. So there's even some passive grid gain just from holding the corner. So if you do it at the right time, in the current version, you can guard thrust somebody back into the corner and just win the next cycle and just go again. It's going to be very different in the next version the way guard thrust works. You can't just use Vorpal to do it. You have to use 100 meter. And whenever you do, it removes all of your grid blocks. It does nothing to the opponent. So you can no longer kind of offensively grid thrust, right? So you can be sitting on Celestial, and Carmine can be mixing you. And unless you can find a gap to chain shift to get 100 meter to guard thrust, you do actually have to hold that. So that's very, very, very different from the way that holding onto Vorpal currently works with gapless pressure and that sort of thing. So that's a big consideration to me that like I could potentially like double and triple down on my pressure, and if I don't give them a gap to chain shift, they're not going to get all of that meter. Like they actually have to do something else, Um, the other thing with that,
I guess if you guys want to, we can change the discussion to grid thrust now.
Yeah, sure.
If we want to just talk about that.
So you have all of these bonuses that you can use with Celestial, but it does lock you away in the sense that, like, yeah, because of this grid thrust change, until you get that meter to use, you're just sitting on it, And if rules of Vorpal work how they currently do, it actually does mean that if you are blocking and you have Vorpal, you are gradually losing grid just for blocking. Not a lot of people know that about the current version, but you can absolutely lose Vorpal just by being put on defense and not using it. You have to more actively shield when you have Vorpal, when someone's like feeding you normals, in order to just maintain the grid that you have. So yeah, if Carmine does, like a double wheel sequence or triple wheel sequence in the corner, and you didn't wake up chain shift, you're sitting on those 12 grid blocks and they're whittling away, and until you like do more shields, like it's just your grid is going away. You can't really do anything with it to push him off you. It's all gapless, so you're just holding that and you're getting mixed. So I think Celestial is like potentially absurdly powerful. Like situationally, you could really do some damage with it and like punish people for overextending and just like giving you a bunch of free grid all the time. Absolutely. But the changes to guard thrust mean that like it's no longer the same to just be like, nah, I'm done holding that. Get off me now,
Yeah, especially like you mentioned how people like to use guard thrust offensively, but also characters that don't have access to 100-meter reversal. Like whenever I, for example, play versus a Hilda or a Chaos or a Yuzu, and they win the first cycle, a lot of times they use that first cycle with Vorpal to guard thrust me off if I get an opening with after that first cycle. So not having access to that within the first 17 seconds would be, or after the first 17 seconds, if you lose that first cycle, is actually like a pretty significant change for those characters that rely on guard thrust to escape pressure without 100-meter. There's a lot of interesting implications. Yeah.
So another like super strong aspect of having Vorpal is that you can obviously chain shift your opponent's pressure, but currently it's also very easy to use it as an option select. Actually, I wonder if any other thoughts on grid thrust before I move on from there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up the input change. So grid thrust now is on
that's nice.
Yeah, right now it's on 2 and 4D. And you have to be in block stun while doing it. Still have to be in block stun, but now it's on 6 ABC. What do you guys think about that?
I think it sounds much easier, and I'm not going to get accidentally grid broken.
So, does it mean you'll actually get VO though?
Yeah, that is true. It's kind of like the BB tag push block is DP, right? So you might go to guard thrust and you might get VO instead.
That's not bad because VO's 14 frame now, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I'd much rather get VO than stand shields, right?
Well,
I think especially when you're being pressured, right? Like the potential escape for VO, it kind of like is like kind of effectively a similar thing where you can still potentially get out of your opponent's pressure, but if you stand shields, then you're usually just gonna die,
I was talking about this a while ago with some friends, but the grid thrust input is actually kind of finicky because you have to be holding down 4 after you finish the input to do 214D. So yeah, you do end up getting stand shield a lot, and it's kind of hard to input, especially like if you happen to end up blocking like an A normal and you're just whiffing stand shield and sitting there
exactly
like a little idiot. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you get to the end of the 2-1-4 motion and then you're not in block stun anymore, so then that's why you get stand shield.
Yeah, hopefully it'll make guard thrust more useful against characters that run shorter strings that are difficult. Like guard thrust right now is particularly powerful against characters that can run like extended block strings and the pressure is like pretty close to you. So say like if Chaos is like doing 236A dash up 5cc, that's a good point to guard thrust. But against like an Enkidu that's like doing 2A redash 2A, there's just not a lot of opportunities to use guard thrust there because just through the nature of the input. So hopefully it'll make it easier in those situations.
So the next thing I want us to discuss is kind of stay on theme with the new things that have been implemented. So I want to talk about the new role or the creeping edge. is the official term. I know Fox of you made a really great Twitter thread about it, so you can introduce it.
It was not. I did find like a few inaccuracies in that thread eventually, but it was still closer than I thought it was going to be. I was like kind of bracing myself for the blow up as we were coming up to TGS. I was like, all right, how many things was I going to be wrong about? But no, it was mostly accurate. So Creeping Azure role is, it is a role that is frame 1 strike invul. Through frames 22 or so, if something comes in contact with it, it kind of acts like a shield, where there's grid gain for the person who rolled through whatever attack, and they are then still in recovery for, it's the whole thing is about the same as a jump. It's about like 44 or 45 frames. So if you roll in the first half of if in the first half of the roll, you roll through an attack, it acts like a shield, you get that grid bonus. But the downside of it is, even if it procs something, you are always vulnerable to throw when you are rolling. If you haven't procced anything, you will get grid broken if you get thrown. The other thing to consider is if you roll and you don't roll through anything, nothing procs, in the latter half, like after frame 22 through recovery to frame 44, you can just get hit. So it seems like this is a mechanic where on one hand it'll give players a way to get out of pressure that they didn't have before, but on the other hand, it comes with such limitations that it is going to be a pretty situational use. I don't think that, for better or for worse, I don't think that we're just going to see people mashing 3D as the input. We're not going to see people absolutely mashing 3D to roll and see a whole lot of great success early on with that. Like I think people are mostly going to get blown up for using it at first, but it does look like it could be really useful in certain circumstances.
I think on the contrary, I think like the first week or first month, roll will be very fun, very powerful. Because when I was watching clips of it, I was surprised by how far it takes you out of the corner. If you're rolling out of the corner, so if your opponent's positioned right next to you, it actually created a considerable amount of distance on the other side of them. It was surprising when I saw it, because like I feel like if I'm not prepared for it, I might not be able to get the punish on time, and I think people not understanding that spacing might be tripped up by it a lot. I think that's something I struggle with versus like a chaos roll that's point blank. Sometimes I just feel like he gets like a mile away from me afterwards, and if I'm not looking for it, I have to really be heads up and paying attention to the spacing to know where they're gonna land and be ready for the punish. And hopefully, I don't whiff a move that has too much recovery, so I can get the punish on the other end.
Oh yeah, from as far as punishes go, so of what we understand, if the roll procs something successfully, like you do roll through an attack, as long as you are blocking through the recovery frames, it looks like you just block, So yeah, if you press an A normal and they roll through it, and then you press, 2C or whatever, as long as they're blocking, then they're still safe. So it seems like the situation will be like, yeah, if they got the successful roll, I kind of have to then run up and either try and get that throw punish in time before they recover, or threaten to throw them after they recover,
Yeah.
But if you're already spaced out in your pressure though, like, if I'm in Londrekia, 5C range, and I press that button and they roll, it kind of seems like they roll straight over to my throw.
You're loving arms, yeah.
Yeah, or like the Akatsuki players were saying that fireball spacing is like already kind of perfect for if they roll through a fireball, you just like auto throw them. You're just like, no.
As if Akatsuki players needed less to think about on offense.
But yeah, it does seem that compared to like Linne roll or chaos roll, we do have a nice kind of visual cue. I don't know if that really got brought up in the thread, but when something procs on the roll, there's actually like a screen darkening effect. The
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing
yeah.
just goes whoosh. So I don't think that we're gonna get jump scared by it, if we're just running pressure. And that is so nice. Like, as far as prices to pay for rollback, like, we can do this. This is fine. This is great. Like, it's absolutely fine.
I'm not looking forward to the rollback of my move getting parried into it not being parried, into them just appearing behind me.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of that stuff from bad connections. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They like. You want to go ahead?
No,
Dom?
you go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay. So a lot of people, when I see people talk about roll, they really talk about like the defensive aspect of using it. Like it'll have its uses and stuff, but I think no one's really talking about how much this changes like the neutral of the game. Like adding this, like will literally give characters that had no options to get in on characters options to get in. Like I'm very scared now of like a character like Akatsuki or like Enkidu because they kind of have a way to like get in and also get grid and get in.
Akatsuki players can't stop winning. What is this? This
I
patch is not
know.
what I wanted.
This is gonna be the patch where all of the like no neutral characters can like fight back even better. It's like I think this is probably the best mechanic they could have ever added into Under Night because this game is very like it's kind of got like the KOF style like neutral triangle where you'll like assault over certain things or stuff like that, and that game has a role. So I think rolls are good to like get past like some of the really obnoxious neutral stuff. Like it's gonna be really good.
You can say Yuzu, bro. It's okay. It's okay.
This might actually make Hilda not good. It might make Hilda not good.
Yeah, actually, Hilda's buttons having such high recovery, it feels like roll will be really good against her.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll adjust some of the recovery to accommodate for that because
No, they're not.
maybe they need to. I mean,
they
with
don't.
2C,
They don't.
They did do it with Gordeau 5C. They made Gordeau 5C like on whiff a lot less recovery so that it doesn't just die to roll.
I was thinking.
I will say, I have seen some Hilda players say, we've got command normals. It's okay. Like 2CC, it's okay.
Yeah, Hilda has very active stuff and command normals, so she'll be fine.
I was also, I remember Foxo, you mentioned this a while ago, but the prospect of using this on offense to break cross-up protection is going to be a very fun application of roll as well.
I'm gonna blame that on Defi. That I'm gonna put that idea. That was Defi's brainchild.
I already got a nasty mix up in my head. It's over, dude. Someone's getting lawn left right in, man. No. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh my god.
Wait, you can do.
He's gonna go in the little coffin, and then he's gonna nothing personnel kit you. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Do you think Carmine can bomb release during roll?
I think it's gonna be interesting. I think due to the fact of how long bomb takes to release, the timing on it's gonna be weird, but we'll see. I think it's just gonna die to your opponent like looking at the screen and throwing you during the roll. If they're awake, I think the counterplay's there. But Londrekia, like you're gonna be frozen, and then the 2-2C set, and you like just can't press anything. It's just guess left right.
I'm so hyped, man. It's gonna be awful. If it actually works, this character is gonna be like top, like high tier minimum, dude. He's gonna be so cheap.
I don't think everybody needed chaos left right roll, but this is the game we're gonna get.
Nah, that's fair.
You guys are talking about baiting roll on offense and also how it goes into neutral, but can you guys think of any situations where you would use roll on your defense? Because UNI defense is already pretty strong, and this is a new tool. So, are there any situations you think?
Definitely, there are some normals that just have such wind up and such recovery that it may feel really worth it to just do that instead of dash blocking. Like Enkidu increase 4C, or like Gordeau increase 5C. Or I'm trying to think of something else like
I could do increase 5C.
Hilda 5C. Increase 5C.
Oh yeah. Actually, that one. Absolutely that one. So yeah, there are going to be some normals where it's like if you're paying attention, it may not roll just may actually be absolutely like the best option. Or I don't know if Vatista 2C will really. It might be too active. I don't know.
I was
But
hoping 2BBB would be something to roll through, but
oh yeah,
you get a super cancel out of it, so whatever, it's fine.
yeah, it's okay.
I'm gonna try
You
to
just
roll
block
this
though if you
up.
proc it. So
Vatista is unrollable. Actually, rolling lasers might be good. Actually, rolling lasers.
I'm thinking about rolling Ozzy.
so as far as rolling VAT things, one thing that will be, if this works the way that I think it will, one thing that will be very nice is right now it's not just a knowledge check, it's also low-key kind of an execution check to be able to dash block out of gem pressure in the corner. But if you roll, ideally what will happen is you will roll into the active frames and then block, and that's kind of like your first 2 dash blocks, but easier. That's hopefully that's like how it will work. So you'll roll, and the situation won't end, but you'll be like in a better spot then to start dash blocking.
Yep.
That's how I see it. Anyways, we'll see.
I'm looking forward to abusing like a Carmine true block string and seeing my opponent hold 3D and hitting them with a button during that 3D, not knowing that it's actual block stun the whole time. There's no gap to roll out of, That's going to be very fun. I think, Garm, what you said earlier about rolling through Aussie stuff will be super valuable because that dog is bullshit.
I think you can also roll through Hyde Rekka, right? Because
Yeah.
he has to commit to another mid that sends him forward. So if you go below him and past him, he's kind of hopeless in that situation.
That'd be awesome to do. That'd be awesome to get out of that too. Whenever like Hyde uses like Rekka to following Rekka, my like +1 reset, it feels like a very difficult thing to deal with. There's like not a lot of real good options there.
Wait, that option is bad. You should.
That option is bad. I'm
What?
gonna say it.
But it's okay. Next version you won't, right? So it's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
So I've kind of been wondering if Carmine and some other characters like Carmine might have some, how to put it, setups that will auto hard punish roll.
Yeah.
I kind of even wondered about like a type Lumina style, quote unquote, like meaty throw setup where you go for throw frame 1 and then your projectile hits like frame 3 or something like that. And you just get a grid break if they did anything. That would be pretty sweet. That's like that's of the things that I want to lab in UNI2. As it turns out, a lot of them are Carmine things. That character's gonna be really sick.
I think in Under Night, a lot of the set play in this game, it doesn't have like the decision making tree that like a Lumina would, dealing with like heat on wake up, or like a Guilty Gear would, dealing with dead angle and burst. So hopefully this adds another nuance to set play, because in some matchups like versus Hilda or versus Carmine, whenever you're blocking their setup, it feels so linear. It's just like a very set situation and you just have to guess high or low. But in a similar situation in multi-blood type Lumina, right, you have to deal with heat, you have to deal with shields, you have to deal with all these other escape situations, and a lot of people find those decision trees to be way more fun and interactive than the set play in this game. So hopefully this adds a lot more nuance to the set play. I was actually at a local last night, and there were 2 Hildas in our top 3. And by the end of the night, I was just so tired of watching the 50-50 setup over and over. There's just nothing you can do about it. There's like no nuance to the situation. You just have to guess high or low. And I don't think this is gonna fix like the 50-50, but I like this direction where there's more nuance to that kind of set play.
This is the thinking mechanic, bro. This is the mechanic. Out of all the mechanics that they added to this game, this is the mechanic that is gonna make this game 10 million times more fun. Absolutely. I'm so excited because like, oh man. I'm gonna roll a Yuzu slash, I'm gonna be in her face, I'm gonna be like, what's good?
I'm gonna be crying when I do it the first time, dude. It's gonna feel so good.
It's gonna be amazing. This is Carmine's answer to the characters with really obnoxious neutral. That's like pretty much you can only deal with by dash blocking, and I think a lot of casual players kind of don't like doing just that, just
Yeah,
dash
dude.
blocking, brain numbing. But now you have roll, and then
Now
you
we
can
got
combine jumps and
EX
everything.
dash
And
block. We got EX dash block now.
I was getting so tired of like telling players whenever I'd like play into them with characters that have like really obnoxious like offense and spacing traps and their neutral is just difficult to close in on. Like you have to tell these beginner players like, oh, it's just you just gotta dash block, gotta play patiently. There's not much more to it. And now there's another option on the table. It'll make the game just feel a lot more dynamic, I think.
it is a huge option. I'm like, it's gonna change a lot. And for all we know, Carmine might buff it again before the game comes out, and it's even crazier. But I think it seems fine the way it is now. Once we get our hands on it, we're gonna figure out the nitty gritty details. But rest in peace, Hilda. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Rest in piss, you won't be missed, Hilda.
Rest in peace, Hilda.
Yo, I feel a little bit for Mawaru though. Mawaru is going through
Nah,
it. Like,
no, I don't.
I've seen all the stages of grief.
I don't.
Bro.
I don't. He's gonna have to hold that, man.
He has to pay the taxes.
Yeah. He'll move to his other top tier in the next version of Londrekia.
Yes,
so
let's
true.
go. I've been waiting for this moment.
So one thing about roll as well, or does anyone have anything else to say about roll? Or
I was gonna ask you guys. So the CS shortcut that some people like to rely on is 3DD.
Yes.
How will that interact with this?
So I asked Neff if he could test at the upcoming Paris Week demo, but there was something really scary that got uploaded, which was a clip of someone CSing the early frames of roll. And
God.
I have so many questions. Like this has been bugging me since I saw it, and I still don't have an answer. And it may be totally innocuous, but I was worried that, like, does that mean that I can roll through an attack, chain shift the recovery, and punish you? I don't know. It could be as innocuous as right now you shield and then you press D again and you get chain shift. So it could be as simple as if your roll is whiffing, then you can CS the early recovery of it. That would be like fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think rolling through normal CSing and punishing sounds very good to me. That sounds like very scary. But we'll have to see if that's really the case. I can't really speculate on it more until there's some more testing. I kind of am hoping though that it's just oh, you whiffed that kind of early. Okay, never mind. That's fine. Like have your chain shift anyways.
Mm-hmm. That does sound like very interesting. Being able to steal a punish out of somebody's turn very early with roll CS sounds very threatening to deal with.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. But on the other hand, if instead you are pressing 3DDDD a lot and your block's done and you get successful roll and you can't chain shift that, and then you're just on the other side, and I don't know, maybe then you chain shift as soon as you're in recovery and they're approaching you. Like that sounds doable to me. That sounds like perfectly fine. But we'll see which one it is. We'll see.
The other one that kind of sounds hype.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Imagine you could roll and then you roll like I gotta use Yuzi for an example again. Say you you're kind of like close enough to her that if you roll, you'll roll right in front of her, and like you get the roll proc and you CS at the end so you can get a punish. Like there might be some actual really good application for stuff like that for characters like that.
Ooh, that feels so good.
If you're too far away, like some characters just have stuff they get to throw out that's just like too like I want to be able to actually punish somebody's things that are a little broken, a little So it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing if it is the latter thing, but it doesn't really matter to me. But because just having roll is good, but if you could roll like during it, like maybe towards the end, like because it gives you all that distance and stuff. So
you Hyde players are so excited about roll, but when I roll 660 for the first time, it's gonna feel so good.
I'm not a Hyde player next patch.
I'm a lawn player next patch.
I'm done with that character.
I think it could
roll.
against Hyde, like in the Linne matchup, Linne's will do FF against like IC 5C or FF on reaction, and I think that roll might be able to be used in the same way.
Ooh, yeah, that's interesting.
So one thing about roll as well is that whenever you do a successful roll, you gain some grid, something that we mentioned already, but specifically you get the shield effect. So you get the pop-up on the side of your screen that says shield. So whatever effect you would normally get from shielding is what you would get when you do a successful roll. So that's the next thing we're going to talk about is shield and the changes to shield. So shield actually has a couple changes. One of the main ones is that when you shield something, the cycle moves forward. So how does that affect the grid game?
So like we were saying about like Hyde 22C, like let's say it's if it's 9 o'clock on the cycle and that move comes out, it might become 12 o'clock like very quickly. If you're just like shielding, like every time you shield, it's a tiny amount, but it does advance the Vorpal cycle a little bit. So it seems like those pivotal moments near the end of the grid cycle are going to feel all the more pivotal because then any success on them speeds that cycle up a little bit. Also, this is the same for concentrate. So if two people are concentrating near the end of the cycle, that cycle will be up just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, concentrate has the same change where it moves the cycle forward. Also, concentrate, we can talk about the concentrate too. Also, no longer costs meter to do.
Oh, really? Wait, I didn't know that. That's a wild change.
I don't like that.
So does not cost meter to use. Also, by the way, I was very curious about VO concentrate because right now it is absolutely absurdly strong.
It's so juiced,
While you're concentrating in Veil Off in the current version, your grid gain rate is insanely fast. I am told by Isaac, who tested at TGS, that concentrate in Veil Off appears to be the same as normal. So that's kind of big, maybe worth mentioning. You're not going to Veil Off and just like auto win cycle that way, but other grid actions are still doubly rewarding. So like, for example, your concentrate rate is the same, but if you assault, you get 2 blocks instead of 1. So
that's interesting. I was really scared of people applying the grid instead of just like doing VO strip like they would now, they would end with VO, concentrate, and then enter Celestial from the next cycle because the concentration rate while in VO is just so big, so fast.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
We can go right into talking about VO as well. Because
VO.
No, you're good. You're totally good. VO has like definitely a couple of changes. I'll just list them off real quick. The main one is that you don't get grid broken if you get hit by raw VO. So if your opponent's slamming VO and during your pressure and you get hit, you don't get grid broken anymore. We also mentioned that VO stripping doesn't exist anymore.
Bless.
The startup of VO being decreased from 20 frames to 14. And then also kind of a weird one, but VO can't be charged anymore. So which didn't really get any use outside of Lond. But I think one that's gonna impact a lot of the game is the VO startup being decreased and lots of pressure situations.
I wanted to mention one more thing about the concentrate rate thing before we moved off the topic.
Yeah, I had something to say as well.
I think it's very interesting that if you have no meter, you still concentrate the same rate as because I assume the concentration rate's totally universal now. If you have no meter, you'll still concentrate the same rate as somebody with meter. That's like a way that you could in this version suffocate somebody in neutral. If you had a meter lead and they didn't, you would concentrate. They are unable to concentrate to keep up with your grid gain, and they'd have to do other ways to to advance the cycle. Getting rid of that nuance is kind of disappointing because I thought that was a good way to punish people who aren't smart with their meter.
That was one way. Yeah, that was one way you would just punish someone who would VO, because they eventually go down to 0 meter, and if you have meter, you just one cycle if they don't touch
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
there's a
fine.
nice soft counterplay to VO spammers.
By the way, okay, and I promise this will be a last thing before Veil Off, but about Shield, one other thing about Shield is Green Shield, just visually, the visual effect is a lot more noticeable. So, so Green Shield is going to be a little worse in the sense of it may be a little bit more of a commitment. Right now, sometimes you're looking for Green Shield and like you see it a little late, and then it just like leads to a scramble. So it looks like what we've seen of UNI2 footage, that Green Shield will be way easier to identify. So if you are fishing for it, you will have more success finding it if people are giving it to you, you know? So I see that as kind of significant. But about Veil Off, 14 frames, yeah. So like what we were talking about earlier about how some characters may just chain shift the first opportunity they get to 100 meter to like have these options.
Yeah.
I think universally for every character, the difference between having 0 meter and having 100 meter for defense is going to be like really big, because before you have 100 meter, stagger pressure is going to be a lot stronger. Like people can continuously repressure, and you like really have to hard guess on it. It seems like after you get 100 meter for Veil Off, if they are like staggering every A normal in your face and so on, it really does seem like you can just be like, no, I'm not holding that. I'm done.
14 frames is like legitimately too fast. It's unavoidable now. And I think that CS strategy you mentioned is something that Carmine players love to do a lot. Is if they win the first cycle on defense, instead of even using it to guard thrust, they would just CS at the first opportunity just to gain more meter, so they can roll the dice with the reversals.
Yep.
And it's a pretty common tactic for Hilda players too. To not Hilda players because they get the meter refund. Chaos players is what I was thinking of, so they can get access to Veil Off too. But yeah, I guess this being probably universally the best reversal now with 14 frame startup will definitely change people's decision making on how they hold CS, which I think is an interesting nuance.
I think something. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like we were mentioning Type Lumina a little earlier, and like defensive mechanics in that game. Veil Off, it seems like, will function a little bit more like raw heat in some situations of like you're getting assaulted at right now. Veil Off is not the best option. Like often it'll just whiff, like you'll just get safe jumped on accident. Whereas now it's like if somebody's assaulting at you, you can be like, no, get off me. But yeah, we were gonna say,
Well, Pesto brought up the meter refund for Hilda, but that's actually also something new in Uni2 is that, and you talked about holding Vorpal as well, because now in Uni2, if you have Vorpal and you do an EX move, you get 25 meter back. That's across the cast for everybody. So,
and the economy is just, the stocks are out of this world. They're way too high. The meter economy is just it's too far gone. It's a bull market. Everyone's just rushing at this point. Bear market.
Fox have also mentioned that pressuring someone before they have 100 meters is going to be different with the new VO startup. So we're going to be seeing a lot of meter usage probably.
It's the meter game. It's even more meter gamey than right now, and it already is.
Yeah, maybe they need to introduce another resource so we don't have to keep focusing on just the 1 meter gauge. Add another bar.
I do like, by the way, that they gave us a nice indicator for when you're at 100 or 200 meter or not.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be great, especially for characters who rely on 100 meter reversals. Like right currently it's like you chain shift and sometimes you're at like 99 meter and you go to use your reversal and it doesn't come out and you're like, oh, what happened? So that will avoid a bit of that. So thank you for the UI change on that. By the way, I think it's worth mentioning because we brought up Vorpal Strip earlier and how it's going away. And we'd also brought up maybe potentially like ending a combo and Veil off to try and win Celestial. So just a thing of note, while you can't use Vorpal Strip to actually remove the opponent's Vorpal, you can now strip, and it works kind of similarly to a shield effect where you gain a grid block and they lose 2. So if it's maybe coming up to the end of a cycle, you can still end your combo and Veil off and like get a grid advantage that way. Also, if they are in Celestial and you end in your combo and Veil off, they will instantly go from whatever grid blocks they were at, I assume 12, down to 6. So you can kind of trade your meter for their potential meter gain. You know, you can at least like minimize the effect a little bit. So
this is getting too complicated. There's just too much resource management at this point.
It's really funny because they removed stripping, but I guess it's still in the game.
Yeah, like you will
We're
definitely
still gonna strip.
You're still gonna use it in certain situations. You know, like if it's you're like doing your combo and you're like near the end and you're like, if I finish this combo, maybe they will, you know, get the cycle. Maybe instead of dropping your combo to concentrate, maybe you just combo into Veil off and just take a guarantee like that, you know? So yeah, there will be, yes, a lot of decision making in this game. Their resource management will be quite a big deal.
Yeah, the real-time strategy uni players like Clear Lamp, where all they think about is meter resource management, are really just gonna have a field day with
He's
this.
having a ball, man.
Uh,
I think these are all these changes are. It's like they nerf VO, but at the same time they like. Carmine's never gonna let his defensive mechanics be weak, is what I'm learning. Like, you know, he's like, all right, we're gonna remove this broken mechanic. All right, let's make it 14 frame. You know, like, yeah, we got this. But I don't know. The game needs to change. The game needs to change.
This is probably a statement best left for the very end, but I'm just going to cut to it. Like, of all of the changes, you look at them all together, all of these changes point towards I'm not going to whoopsie get grid broken and not participate in the metagaming of Uni for like some period of time, you know, like, or I still will, you know, if I shield incorrectly, but like, I'm not going to accidentally get it done by like a grid thrust input. I'm not going to accidentally get it done by OSing. We'll get there. I'm not going to whoopsie get veiled off by Hilda and be grid broken. Like, of all of the changes, I feel like condensed down to we're going to get to like play the game with each other more and for more prolonged periods, and like I like that. You know,
I was complaining about that for months, man. When I was getting better at this game, I was complaining how you don't really get to for Under Night, like you don't really play Under Night that much. You don't really play the game.
you play it in bursts.
Hyde,
You play it sometimes and not others.
I'm drooling. I'm like I just wait. I'm fishing for a throw and I strip you, and then that whole like thing we just didn't really matter. There wasn't really any.
Literally not fair.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
just anti-interaction.
It isn't fair.
Yeah, you punish your opponent for outplaying you pretty much.
This is why Hyde's mid tier next version, man. No strip. Nah, man.
I think like you said, having more control and agency on when you're grid broken too. Being grid broken in the next version sounds like you're actually going to be punished even more hard than in the current version too, because of how important the meter economy is going to be. It sounds like you're just going to get kneecapped so hard for getting grid broken in one round with the no meter gain throughout the entire duration. If you lose off that hit into the next round, your opponent has a huge meter gain on you in the next round, and that's just going to mean even more in the next version with all the new stuff you can do with VO and guard thrusts.
I think one thing I also want to bring up about the VO startup change is that could also give characters new combos into VO.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And that'll kind of even it out a little bit across the board, because like there was a big improvement between ST and Clear that it used to be that like pretty much only the top tier characters could do a full combo's worth of damage and then end in Veil Off. And then in Clear, they introduced a bunch of ways for other characters to like do the same thing. Sometimes like contextually, like Linne has a corner Veil Off combo that I've like never seen somebody actually do, but it's there. It does 3K, so like that's great. But now it's like 14 frames. Like there are a lot of ways that you can link that into a route now. So more Veil Off combos for everybody. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Londrekia potentially just does like, you know, B Rekka increase A Rekka like a staple of his combo routes and just goes into Veil Off. Like you'll see it possible in a lot more places.
Oh god, goes into Veil Off and to win the next cycle into 50% damage buff. I'll just alt F4 at that point, dude. I don't know.
Actually, I want to go back on one of the things that we were talking about before that I wanted to bring up, and it's the like shield and concentrate thing. Like a lot of the like game is like, what's how to describe it? Basically, there's gonna be variability between games because it moves forward the cycle. That's such a crazy thing. It means like maybe some games you'll have like an extra cycle more or two, maybe.
Oh,
Depending on how people. That's crazy because like now like every single game is like they're already different, but they're gonna be even more different. It's gonna be strange. There's gonna be real strange things happening. Like some games might get really this game is definitely gonna be a little more chaotic because of, you know, it's gonna be a very uncontrollable.
Yeah, like Hyde mirror happens and,
yeah.
and they're just shielding 3 times on every like multi-hit, you know, like yeah.
The 20 cycle Hyde mirror round.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the new changes, you know, roll, proccing a shield moving forward the cycle, concentrate moving forward the cycle. Also, VO not grid breaking anymore. Also, you guys were talking about how you just get to like not locked out of playing the game anymore. Different options giving more grid than they used to. I think the grid back and forth. I think grid is going to be changing so much and like all the time during rounds.
Yeah, I was talking about this last night at my local. Something that I really like appreciate about Guilty Gear is the instability of the game in a lot of different sequences. Where like in this game, Uni in comparison feels very stable with how consistent the cycle is, how consistent hit confirms are, how consistent every hit goes into a full combo. Meanwhile, in Guilty Gear, right, like you have tension pulse and different meter gains based on that. You have not very consistent hit confirms through air to airs, and that kind of gameplay. It seems like that sort of inconsistency and variability is going to be introduced into this game, which I really think I appreciate. It can get kind of stale picking up with the same route off the same hit confirm, like Yuzu up back J6 JB into J6C, right, hitting you from full screen. It's a full combo, you know, but there's going to be other inconsistencies and variabilities thrown into the game due to some of these grid changes that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, if I personally, if I had to pick a place for there to be like variability and like a whole lot of back and forth, I like that it's coming in on the system side and not, you know, super. And this is like because I'm not an EL player. You know, EL players will like disagree with this, but I like, you know, getting a full combo from every little touch, and you know everything picks up and things like that. Like I don't like necessarily, you know, having super contextual or like super limited combos in places. But I'm very glad, yes, that like the involvement of the system mechanics is now going to be such that yes, things can swing a lot. Things can you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. Like right now, because of the characters that I play 2 characters that can abuse Vorpal Strip a lot. It's very, and I played against Red Blade early on, who's like, oh, I've got a grid lead late in the cycle, I'm gonna mash, you know. And it took me a long time to get over that. So I've gotten used to just like doubling or tripling down on my pressure. I mean, like, no, what if I frame trap for the 15th time, you know? And if it hits, then I vorpal strip and I go again. But like now, it's kind of like I'll be more accountable for my actions. You know, everything that I do will have a little bit more impact, a little bit more lasting result, and that's really cool.
Yeah, the stability of this game is very nice, but I do really appreciate how those other games force a lot more decision making and interactions on things you really wouldn't expect. Like, it blows my mind when I watch EL footage, like you mentioned earlier, and I see Seth combos, and I'm like, he doesn't even get a hard knockdown.
Yeah.
You know, like he
Yeah.
sets orb and he's in the air and he doesn't get any Oki at all. And then you play gear and you see similar stuff like that too. But then in the current version of this game, you get full combos into Oki, into grid lead, into not a lot of nuanced decision making in certain situations. Like it feels like a set in stone game, which I like, but also I'm looking forward to a change of pace.
Yeah, like obviously I like it because I've been playing the game for so long, but
Yeah.
like at least if there's one thing I'd want them to do is at least slightly nerf the a normal damage in this game because I think it's too high.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least for some characters, it's a little too high. Like
User,
if you're getting all this reward from a normal that's 5 frame and hits assault jump ins and stuff, and you get all that damage, you get the Oki and the damage. I feel like they could nerf the damage a bit on a normals in this game. They're a little
Yeah,
too strong.
Two things to mention about that. I don't know if it'd come up. We do have now counter hit on A normals, but it does not change routing. All it means is that if you counter hit somebody with an A normal, the counter hit removes some extra grid from them. So that's that's always been the case. So that's a factor. But I know this. Okay, I'm gonna confess. I know this because I would win cycles with flash kick because I'd get a counter hit and then that would swing the grid and I'd win the cycle.
Oh my god, you're such a cheater, dude.
Yeah.
Holy
Does
no.
it change a hit stun? Do you know?
As far as we know, the A normal counter hits do not change.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, you know what? No. I can say that it does. The initial hit has full untech. So, like, if you 5A someone and then they're in the air, Melty Blood, you know, they're going to be in untech until they hit the ground.
Okay.
But from that point on in your combo,
Oh no.
it's the same. You know, this
Oh,
is true.
no.
This is
Oh,
true
no.
of Jump A too, by the way. I don't know how much we'll see this in application, but if you rising Jump A counter hit someone, it is exactly like Melty Blood.
So I was thinking about like a post CS situation. Sometimes someone presses a 5A into an ADP, and you can pick up the trade. At least for Hyde, you can pick up the trade with like a 5A. So if it changes the hit stun, if the hit stun's increased on A normals, he loses that because it's already just like a perfect pickup.
Okay, interesting.
Nice. A soft nerf to ADP post CS. I like the sound of that. I like.
It's already throwable.
Yeah.
Well, not if you're Akatsuki.
Yeah, not if you're Akatsuki.
Yeah.
There's no nuance in that direction.
Yeah. So the other thing about
that.
the other thing about A normals is just on the note of damage in general. It does look like, based on looking at a couple of EX moves, it does look like the damage on EX moves is a little bit decreased across the board. So being able to optimize your confirms before meter seems like all the more important. Like if you're a character that does high meterless damage, that's going to be more valuable than, say, like being Hilda and having access to Sword Rain, you know? So like, and that Seadrill is no longer going to carry quite as hard. Like you'll have to optimize before you get to that point a little bit more.
Linne players are crying in the club right now.
Yeah. Baby food
but there have been some changes to some starters, some proration on some characters that makes it look like meterless damage is like as good as it's ever been. Like I call it Hyde Gym. You know, Orbiter Detonation is a much better starter. Apparently, does breakthrough K mid screen.
Oh
so,
god,
that's so broken.
Wait, I don't like the sound of that.
No, but detonate is so slow; it loses to roll now. I think, right?
I feel like it maybe roll will you will end up blocking it during the active frames. Like you'll roll through the first part and then get forced to block regardless. I don't know. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind with the damage economy in this game. Is like it looks like if you can do good meterless damage, that's more important than being able to tack on an EX ender. You know.
I was hoping that would nerf Chaos, but his damage before 236C is still huge, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
One thing about the Anormal's counter hitting too is that it'll help on the info game and pressure. Because if you like delay 2A somebody and they get hit, if you don't get counter hit, so you kind of don't know why they got hit, but you'll see the counter hit on a 3-cat or something like that.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see counter hit on buttons, but throw if someone's using throw or throw teching on defense, then that is not a counter hit. So yeah, if you're staggering A normals and you see a counter, that was either a button OS or it was mashing. If you don't see one, then it was teching. Which should we talk about that now?
Wait.
Oh yeah.
One more thing before we start on the craziest change to the game. I do not think that like because you said the counter hitting giving you grid. Do you really want Byakuya's 5A to be buffed even more, man? Do you really want that to happen? Do you really want him to run up 5A, hits you out of the startup, get counter hit, gets that grid, and then also gets more grid from his combo?
Well, it's that you lose extra grid for getting counter hit. So just don't put out something that'll get hit by the 5A, bro. You
know how big the 5A is? I mean, obviously you wouldn't care because you got that 5A, man. Of course you're happy.
You control the buttons that you press.
But you can't control Byakuya 5A like getting whipped out of nowhere and just dying.
The second best reversal in the game.
Also, if you get 5A counter hit like out of the air, you can no cancel and just use the counter hit stun to pick up.
That's broken as well too, man. Seth's gonna run up 5A. And he's gonna get a better combo. He's gonna get an even better combo.
I didn't think about Seth.
I'm telling you, straight ass. Oh my, that's such
that character is still gonna be shitting out damage. He does so much damage.
Oh
yeah. Ohito was looking at dash up 5AA because now you can press 4AAA and just get A over and over. Currently, you have to do something weird, which is press 5A and then hold up and press A. And yeah, that's removed. Now it's just like Lumina, you'll press 4, press A, 5A as many times as you want, So Ohito is going to be running up and pressing A twice. And, and he said that, like, it looks like the confirm is mostly the same as, like, 5A, 3C. So I'll just do that instead. I was like, word.
We should talk about that, actually, the 4AA thing, because that's actually a really messed up change. Like, it's a very good change. Like, it's not like it's gonna be way easier to confirm, but it's also really fucked up because some characters have really strong like the stagger A normal pressure in this game is insane. So obviously the 2A one is like staggering with your 2A, like it's gonna be easy to confirm. But now you can stagger with your 5A as well, and it's way easier to confirm. So characters like Orie, even Lond,
absolutely,
like Phonon, like so many of these characters, like the stagger pressure for 5As is like
Linne 5A.
Now that I think about it, it's a really nice change because some characters 2As are hot ass. Like Carmine,
I was gonna say it's the best
Carmine
buff I could have asked
stagger with his 5A, or like Lon. I'm not like, why do I got to do Hyde staggers for this mid 2A that don't even hit people out of the air? Yeah. Like, let me confirm off of my 5A stagger because that's the way better stagger button. So it's like it's half and half. It's like half and half for me. Like a good change and like a little suspicious because I kind of don't want to deal with Mika being able to confirm that. Yeah, I really don't.
You just have 100 meter. Oh, bro.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. That was like my number one most requested change. So I'm gonna be abusing that absolutely.
Yeah. Also, the VO startup, you won't be able to like meaty with A buttons and then bait anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like of the math that I've seen, it looks like you will be able to meaty a normal to bait veil off, but that's kind of where it starts and ends. Like, it has to be very tight. But you cannot stagger your a normals to bait veil off. You'll just get hit. So safe jumps or like frame kills into 5A, or buttons that will space you out naturally, like tip 5B for some characters, will naturally bait it. So I do think it'll work on Wake Up, but it'll be like you're playing Melty Blood for a second, where like, yeah, you'll meaty with A, but you'll meaty with like 3 of them because you want to get pushed back enough so that like your next thing doesn't get hit by Veil. So it's still gonna be like, even that is still gonna make it like hard to play around.
That's an interesting change though, because it makes like meeting more committal. You have to commit to your meaty now. If you can't like, try to sidestep it and maybe meaty a little bit later. So, you'll still bait the VO and you'll also medium. But now you have to, if you're going to meaty with your 5A, you gotta do it. Like you have to do it, or you better have a different plan.
Yeah, definitely delay to AOS to catch like DP, wake up throw. You just block wake up mash. That's a really good option. And yes, VO in the current version already throws a wrench in that, but now especially, yeah, you will not be able to just like delay offensively OS, if that makes sense. You will not be able to like delay your 2A on their wake up and uh not interact with Veil Off. Like that's gonna be a consideration for sure. So do we want to talk about
Is it
1AD
time?
now?
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
time.
flux.
It's time.
All right.
The thunder
So
bat in the skies.
We need this the soundboard. we need a tsunami. Like, this is so big.
yeah, so 1AD is one of many option selects in Uni. It's a throw tech option select. When you're crouching and you're holding down back and you press AD, you get a shield, and you can use that to beat people trying to press delay buttons to open you up, and you'll also tech a throw. But the main difference in UNI2 is that it actually just doesn't exist at all anymore, and pressing 1AD will give you a stand tech, which is the same thing as pressing 5AD, 4AD, 6AD. So that also comes with some weird side effects because you're not getting shield anymore. So we can discuss about that.
So yeah, there's no longer stand tech. It's just like how Canada's like, people think that it's lifeguard can. No, it's just beach. It's like, it's just tech. It's just tech now. And
I didn't expect a Barbie reference. That's kind of
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So the significant thing about this is, like in the current version, when you lose access to crouch shield, like when you're grid broken, you press 1AD and instead 2A comes out. All of a sudden, all of these OS crush opportunities open way up for some characters, because if your opponent has to stick out a button in order to deal with throw, has to make themselves vulnerable in some way, then you can do things like TK Hyde Pogo. You can do like, Carmine bomb release backdash. You can do Lond rising jump C. Like, you can do all of these things that would normally be a little bit extra risky. And now with this change, it's like those are, go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And they'll just work. The other thing too is like whenever we talk about OSing, all that is button plus AD, right? And so in the current way things work, like let's say I deep dash up 5A, and Defi is kind of like fuzzying their OS timing a little bit. They're like trying to kind of semi-react or like delay it a little bit. I press 5A and they pressed whatever OS plus AD, but AD kind of happened at the end of the 5A block stun. Well, now Crouch Shield is going to be buffered out. It leaks out is the term. It's like you're leaking your OS. So before, you had to scout for these things by, baiting the OS like deep dash 5A or whatever, and then you see the shield and you throw it or you assault or whatever. Now it's just I, do a deep dash button and then I just stagger that button and I just hit them because throw is coming out instead of that shield leaking out, throw is leaking out. So it's a huge change to the way offense and defense operates. On the one hand, you're not going to get whoopsie grid broken, but on the other hand, you may get hit a lot more in situations that used to be like a little bit safer.
Yeah, in the words of Clear Lamp, this game currently CLR is a survival game, but I think this change more than anything else will make this game feel more like a killing game than how it used to be. The passive OS play style is just getting soft nerfed. Not even soft nerfed, pretty directly nerfed by this change.
Nerf. That's a nerf.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Oh, do you have more to say, Pesto?
Not really. No. I'm happy. I'm so happy that this is happening.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Carmine's
you are
gonna
as a
become
Carmine
broken.
player.
Yeah.
Dude,
Carmine, he's gonna
Carmine
become
eating?
broken.
It's it's fine. Like my feelings on this change are like both good and bad. That's like most of the only change, the only mechanic that I'm like yes is roll. That's pretty much it. It's like it's gonna be great. That's needed. But this change is a little. I like it because like opening people up in this game is really hard, man.
It
It is
can be
really
really
hard. So it's way easier. Removing 1 AD makes it so much easier. Every single rush down strike throw character is buffed. Wagner stocks are through the roof. Akatsuki stocks are through the roof. All these characters are immense boons from this change.
No, Akatsuki
And
players
nice.
they don't play strike throw anymore. They play jailing, so
I don't pay
they're buffed
attention
by
to
other
Akatsuki
things.
players, bruh.
You can't.
I don't pay attention to Akatsuki players.
They can't dash OS anymore because of this too.
They don't need to. They never needed to in the first place. They could just chill. You could just dash 2A. You could just still dash 2A and it'll still be just as strong.
Exactly. They can still input. They can still do it. The inputs just change. It adds a bit more of a. It makes it a bit more difficult because they have to plink. They have to actually think and plink the 1A and the AD. The 1A and the D.
For that.
Which, by the way, so there has been a little bit of experimentation in current version with instead of pressing 1AD, pressing 1D AD, and it does seem to work with some caveats. It's strange. Try it for yourself if you're curious, but basically you have to either press the two pretty much the same early in the tech window, or you have to stagger them out what feels like pretty significantly. Like you have to press D and then wait 3 frames to press AD after it. It feels a little weird, but in the current version it's possible. I assume that in UNI2, if you really want to, depending on the situation, you can still crouch shield OS manually. I'm putting in quotation marks, like if in the Carmine bomb situation, maybe all manually shield OS. I think that'll be possible. I don't think that'll be like we'll be locked out of that. It's just that the default being Stantec is going to change so much. Like,
which is, I think that's fine. Forgot what I was gonna say. The negatives. The negative thing that I was talking about is at the moment right now, there's kind of a triangle going on with strike throw, right? 1 AD beats frame trap, assault beats 1 AD, and then et cetera, et cetera. We all know the strike throw triangle, so it's kind of it's ruined, I guess, because it doesn't exist anymore because 1 AD is gone. So really, you can just do like frame trap or like delay stagger A normals to beat like pretty much all the OSs in the game. Like it's way easier. It's gonna be like Lumen. It's gonna be a little brain dead. It's way easier now. But here's the thing: the triangle. Here's my theory. Here's my undernight theory.
All right.
The triangle still exists because instead of shielding now, remember that VO change? Why VO's 14 frames? That's what he wants us to do now. That is the new triangle. That is the new triangle for strike throw. He wants you to VO to beat the frame traps and delay 2As. That's why he made it that fast for stuff like that. Yeah. And that's probably going to be probably the new option you'll do because, we don't know how like difficult it'll be able to do like 1D AD, even if it works in the first place. But for maybe certain situations, just instead of where you would 1 AD, you would just VO because it's gonna beat all the things that 1 AD would beat. It's
You
gonna
know,
beat all the things.
Well,
it's
it's gonna beat everything.
Yeah.
it's the difference, like I was saying earlier, the difference between having 100-meter or not on your defense and the way that you have to structure your offense around that is going to be huge. But yeah, what were we going to say, Passive?
it's gonna be funny. I think the way you can tell like currently like ST only players or like STEL players is like their combos are different, but the way you're gonna be able to tell like those era of players into the new Uni2 players is people using assault and strike throw, because like what's the point of using assault anymore in strike throw?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna
There's
see
no
you're gonna
point.
you're gonna see me assaulting in like a year in Uni2, and I'm gonna be made fun of by the new Uni2 players for doing it because it's a
Yeah.
waste of time.
We're getting cooked, man. But
I don't.
oh, go ahead.
I think it's interesting that assault is like kind of feeling left behind in that way. You know.
It's not actually.
I will say, and this is less to do with throw situations, but it does look like so what we saw in one of the demos was Wagner assaulting over Merkava 5C, and I don't know if this is just what we should just call like a hurt box change across the cast, but she used to not be able to do that. Actually, like Wagner and like all the characters that I play, I didn't even know that you could assault over Merc 5C until I like realized, oh, other characters do that? Yo, that's crazy. So maybe assault is going to have more neutral application for that reason, like because of that hurt box change. But yeah, it does feel a little bit like it does feel a little bit left out in the strike through triangle if you can simply stagger and have the same effect. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Duffy? How is assault
Oh,
similar?
you brought you got my point right there. Assault is not used for strike throw at all anymore, but I think, in my opinion, assault was already fucking stupid in the first place because you have like, I'm just gonna randomly assault JC to you with this big ass normal across the screen. Assault is now simply used for breaking shields, and it's for neutral application, especially with that hurt box thing. That hurt box thing means that they want you to try to assault over maybe more stuff because of the hurt box changes and stuff. You might be able to, with that change, Fox, we might be able to consistently assault over Byakuya 2B.
Yo,
Stop
Yeah!
coping. Stop coping.
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, stop
Okay,
coping.
let's
Stop coping.
If Wagner can assault over Merc 5C, I think we'll be fine on that. But yeah, you basically said my point that it's for neutral, but like I think that makes a lot of sense because I mean, it's still assault is still a good like way to get in. Like it's still a good like pressure starter, pressure reset. You're gonna use it to break shield. Still, you have to use it. Some characters literally can't catch shield because they don't have like an overhead. So it's still. I think assault's fine. I don't think assault needs anything else. Assault is perfectly fine, and it not being in the strike throw triangle is fine, to be honest, because I mean you kind of risk your life a lot anyway doing assault to break like 1 AD. You do risk your life a lot, leaves you open to a lot of stuff. So I mean I think it's not left behind. I think it's fine.
I think Orie stocks are through the roof because of her assault JC is an absurdly powerful button, and her neutral control will be even stronger with her if the hurt box shifting change is true and universal across the cast. Orie assault JC is just going to be a full screen overhead that hits you from anywhere.
Yeah, assault is already strong.
Orie songs are up for multiple reasons. That's like that's all right, but like yeah, she's got quite a lot going for her next version. Yeah. So
Not bad.
So let's see, where are we at with this? With all of these changes.
Well, there's still actually some more things we can talk about with 1AD because probably the two changes we can talk about are, well, that's the first thing we should talk about is how you can do 1AD to avoid getting green shield. So,
oh yeah, I'm sorry, I did skip over that. So like when I was playing against Red early, he would recommend against Wagner increase 214B he said, don't try and use the D button to shield this. Just press 1 AD because that way you're guaranteed to not get green shield. Well, that's gone. So whereas before you could use 1 AD, you could actually hold 1 AD during the opponent's pressure, and you would just get crouch shield in a gap. And now that is very much gone.
That's a good change.
You know, you're right, Lid. I'm sorry that you're so right to like redirect us this way, because this brings us to CSOS. I was going to talk about this way earlier, but before, you could, instead of pressing like 2D on repeat in your opponent's block string to get CS, what you could do is just mash 1 AD over and over, and you would get that shield, and then that would cancel into CS, and you're good to go. Well, now you can't just slam 1 AD on defense and get chain shift, and that greatly changes the dynamic between currently having CS on defense and using it as like an option select, and the way it will be. You will have to, if you want to CS as an OS, you probably will have to do it like 1D AD, you know? And we don't really even know how intuitive that's going to be. That could be a little tricky. So it definitely changes the dynamic between, like, before, if someone has CS and I approach, I'm like really scared to commit to too much, like assault, for example, because if they chain shift as their option select and they see that, I explode. Well, now that's going to be a little more difficult. We'll have to see. We'll have to see like what people come up with, if 1D AD is really like what we default to, what we're going to do with that. But that is another significant change. Having CS is no longer automatically and very easily a God OS.
Yeah. I think that one AD is like bar none the most suffocating part of running offense in this game versus an opponent. If they have chain shift, you can't like stagger against characters with like DPs that have access to invulnerable meterless DPs. You can't stagger versus them. You can't like try and run like tricky offense. You can't assault at them because they can just wait at any point to let that 1 AD rip and not only tech your throw attempts but also get CS at the right time. I'm really looking forward to this change. Like compounded with the one AD not coming out of shield, it'll just open up so much stuff on offense for people that get oppressed by DPs because their frame data sucks. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it also goes hand in hand with 180 AD. Another reason why it's strong is because you wouldn't get green shield, so you could slam 180 AD in pressure and not get that risk. Fox, if you mentioned we might be able to do 1D Plink AD, which could be the new OS, but you're still risking a green shield. Yeah, right. So we'll have to see how useful it actually is.
Yeah, in pressure and block stun, yeah, it looks like it's just going to be 2D. And as an OS, yeah, maybe it's 1AD AD or 1D AD. But yeah, that will change things a bit. So yeah, we're going to talk up how crazy Celestial is, but then like using it as an OS is going to be a little trickier, and like yeah, so there are like some caveats to how strong Vorpal and Celestial will be next version.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like 98% of my chain shifts are done with 180 AD. And that's
yeah, I wish the JJ had never taught me to do that. It's so yeah.
Now, what if I told you that it's more like 70% for me 180 because 2D still exists. 2D still exists, bros. You gotta learn how to 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah, now's a great time to
2D's gonna take over.
Yeah, now's a great time to break habits of stuff that's not going to be in UNI2. So like if you do 1AD, stop doing it. if you VO strip people, maybe stop doing that too. If you're trying to prep for Uni2.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about that, but also I'm not a big fan of adjusting your playstyle for a game that isn't out yet. You know, like you'll have time to break the habits within like the first month or two of the game, and
They could roll it back.
Exactly. The changes might not all be set in stone. Although the game launches in 3 months, I mean, who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
we are close to a super final build here.
I think a lot is gonna change, but I mean, I think the one thing that you should do is just stop stripping people, because honestly, to be a good player in Under Night, you have to be able to play in those situations. If you can't play the mind games, if you like avoid them constantly, when you get in them, you're gonna get fucked up. You're gonna play against Foxa, he's gonna like just rising JC one time, and then he's slamming FF, and you're like, dude, I'm so lost, man. How do I play these situations, bro?
Dude,
you never play him. But for me, I always try to play him because it's one of the most fun parts about this game. Putting yourself in a position where it's like, oh shoot, my CS meant nothing. We're still playing RPS at the end of the day, and it's not in my favor.
I was playing against Infinity for the first time like a week or two ago, and like I was just blown away by how much better he was at like those RPS situations than I am, despite the fact that I don't think he's been playing the game as nearly as consistently as I have in the past few years. But still, his decision making in those situations was just so much snappier and more on point than mine. And I realized, you know, my decision making in those situations is lacking, because even though I am a person that doesn't vorpal strip that often, it's still my decision making in those situations isn't as involved as it could be compared to people who are.
Yeah, we've been playing with training wheels and Infinity. You know,
You want to know why Infinity? You want to know why Infinity is so good at that? Because he told me. I know the answer. It's because he doesn't strip like that. It's literally because he doesn't strip.
Yeah.
He literally told me, and I was like, "Wait, you don't strip?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't really strip like that." And that's like, that's why he's not carried by this mechanic.
I can't wait for some of the God gamers like Infinity to return and grace us with all of that craziness. Man, I remember playing Infinity in the VAT matchup, and I was showing him things that he had never seen before, like partition setups, and he was blocking them all. And I was like, how? Like, what is this? And he was like, I don't know, I just kind of auto blocked it. And I was like, can you teach me this auto block? Like, yeah, I can't wait to play some of the old cats again. That'll be great.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I just never had the opportunity to play because I started right when the game died. So I'm looking forward to playing like him and Trill and a lot of players that'll just shove me in a locker for the first few months. One of my favorite things about traveling to majors is I get to run into Venice, and he just owns me every time in casuals, no matter what happens. He just makes me look like a fool because he just has some sort of like psychic read on the game that I don't understand.
Dude, Venice is either the dumbest or most genius player. Like, it oscillates frequently. It's very fun. I love.
It might be the Northeast region, man. That's just
yeah,
the
it might
Northeast
be.
region
It might be
so.
something in the water up here, man.
Yeah, do you guys want to talk about maybe we can kind of just talk about, some extra thoughts you guys have, just like everything we talked about together.
One last thing about 1AD is the fact that you can't just like get free shields anymore, and you have to, sometimes get green shields. It's going to be pretty good for like zoners. Like, I'm gonna miss this input a lot for the Yuzu matchup.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be really good for like characters like Phonon too, because right now the best way to beat a shield as Phonon is just to, do a full dash up, which feels really really risky. But now you can run like a pretty functional like a green shield bait game. So
yeah, I think that's a good thing, man.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
The zoner matchups are going to be very, like, they're going to feel a lot different because so much of it has been revolving around 1AD.
Yeah, but you have roll now.
Yeah, you have roll now. That's what I was going to say too. It seems like roll has sort of like it looks like it's going to take the place of 1AD as like the thing you default to deal with some zoning stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next. Is like all these changes and new mechanics combined, like, what do you guys think the meta is gonna be for in terms of characters?
Yuzu top 1, easy peasy.
Yeah. If Yuzu is not top 1, then I mean that's cool and a little unexpected. But honestly, Yuzu is looking incredibly strong. It's so I've had this debate with a couple different people. They're like, okay, so all right, looks like it's over, guys. Rushdown is hard nerf. Zoners are going to run the show, and then I've seen it go the other way too, where it's like, okay, Rushdown has way more than they've ever had before, and like it's going to be so easy to crack OSs now, and like so I've heard both, and I think that both can actually be correct. I think that zoning in some ways has gotten even stronger in the ways that it's most interactive, like green shield bait has gotten all the more potent. But on the other hand, like that's totally true too for like Byakuya or Wagner on offense, like staggering normals, looking for green shields and tossing you for them. So it does look like the power level is just universally up, and I'm not even talking about character changes, so but it looks very interactive on like more frequently, and I'm really excited about that. Like I was saying before, I gave my in statement a little too early. I'm just looking forward to having all of these decisions that we make through the course of the game feel all the more impactful as we go through them. Like every normal you stick out on offense, every movement that you make on defense, like I feel like it's gonna feel a little bit more impactful and like have a little more fluidity throughout the round. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Who is necessarily the strongest? Yeah, it might be Yuzu, but it's kind of hard to say past that.
Yeah,
I
she
think,
also gained that a new her new FF is like 2BC is
She
a
got an
anti-air OS, and it's
Oh,
on
God.
2, which is very
Yeah.
strong.
Ooh.
It
Yep, it's
appears
over.
if you block it, she can just teleport out. So even if you went to like DP after her 2FF, it looks like that's not really a or she can just spot dodge. Like it looks like she's got multiple options to just like, oh, you blocked 2FF, I'm out. Yeah, that looks
Yeah.
really annoying to deal with.
Yeah, it puts her in the air, but it also puts her in stance, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of options.
So ask her money. Enough about Yuzi though. Let's talk about that. This might be the version where that might not be, that might be like 4th. That's the lowest she's been in the. Wow, she might be 5th or 4th, man.
Yeah, but you get it though that she's still gonna be good.
She's still gonna be good, but like this ain't like number 1 or number 2, depending on your mood. Number 1 or number 2. So
Depending on, I think
I think Yuzu's fucking broken. Yuzu could easily be the best character in the game if she wanted to, and like that is obviously the best. Like they're both equals. They're the dominant. They're the demons of this game.
I think I'm looking forward to the new characters that come out in the next version to see how their kits are tailored to these system changes.
Dude, Kaguya is like minimum high tier. She's like minimum high tier. She has too much stuff. She has too much stuff.
If it really is a 1 BAD for her anti-air OS, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, that like Enkidu 4C like does everything kind of step back high low shot. Does that have hidden vulnerability as well?
I mean, I think it's just straight up invul after a few frames. I know that it's not frame 1.
It's a DP. Oh,
it's like a counter.
Like her spot dodge force function?
Yeah, her spot dodge force function is not frame 1, and it does look like it has multiple follow-ups, so depending on the situation, like you'll want to use one follow-up over another. So it's not like you can't meaty her, but yeah, that's gonna be pretty wild to deal with in general. Also, like the counter zoning of like, oh, she spot dodged Hilda 2C and just shot her for I don't know. So yeah, I would have been saying for a while that like when we get new characters, I really do hope that they're strong enough to merit being in UNI's system, because UNI really is the glue that holds together some potentially crazy characters. So I'm okay with them. I hope Kuon is nuts. Like I hope that
No,
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 please.
no. If Kuon's better than Yuzu, this game's dead. This game's dead.
Hey,
I'm a
I
Street
said
Fighter player. I'm a Street Fighter player.
I said nuts. I didn't say better than Yuzu. But like I want them to really, really go hard with some of the new characters, and like I'm ready to be put in a situation, bro. I think the system mechanics are strong enough to merit making the new characters really, really good. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, we've already seen Kaguya. Kaguya looks at like Kaguya. Honestly, I'm very scared that this character might be like the next Phonon, like ST Phonon. I'm very terrified.
I was
Everyone's
thinking the
gonna
same
play
thing
her.
when I
Yeah,
saw it.
see, thank you,
Yeah.
Kaguya, thank you. I'm very scared. Everyone's gonna
Garm.
play this character, brain dead.
What do you think about that, Garm? Why do you think so?
I don't know. She just seems very well rounded. I know she has like some like her buttons all look very whack, but it seems like she has a lot of ignorant stuff out. Players will just play around and
I
not
think-
interact with the rest of the
I think
characters.
if her air dash has intangibility, I know that it does move through people, but if it's also intangible, like you can't hit her, then that would be silly, because then her neutral will be unironically assault, air dash behind you, use her cross up normal, and then schmixture, so that could be a little ignorant, but other than that, like I mean, come on, it's Uni. Like I don't.
looks fun.
She looks good, but she doesn't. I'm not scared.
I think her buttons are interesting in that like they don't look like as all-purpose as some other buttons that other characters have in this game. Like her buttons seem like they have like some interesting like dead zones and weird angles.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be very confusing trying to navigate like which button to press as Kaguya.
Yeah, which I'm happy about. Right? I think that might
5D.
that might
That's
yeah.
that might be top 10 normals in the game. That 5C, bro. That's it's crazy. It's
the little like walk back as she does it is
that looks
the
insane.
tiny little step back. Yeah, that's good.
It looks insane.
But
Oh
I
my
think
god.
like she's a quote unquote tricky character, right? So like just like Seth, like if anyone here has played Seth, you know that you can crash the Seth car. It's hard. So I think people will absolutely be crashing the Kaguya car. Like that's gonna happen.
I agree.
I disagree. I'm gonna disagree.
Well, we'll see when the character comes out.
But even with Seth, like I feel like his normals are like so
Brain dead.
they're ignorant sometimes.
Brain
right?
dead.
Yeah.
Brain dead.
Jushichi made a tweet the other day saying like there's nothing that infuriates me more in the Seth matches than just randomly getting hit by 5cc.
Yes!
I feel that.
They're like
it's so
5A,
big.
3C.
Oh yeah, that too. The 5A is huge. The 2B is just like really good as well. Yeah, Seth's weakness is that he doesn't get to play that many normals, but his normals are quite good.
The thing that frustrates me the most about Seth's kit is the run-up JA headshot, and I hope nobody else uses that. That's such a stupid sequence.
That's going to be cracking people throwing too. They're just going to run up and just do it because, and then if it doesn't work, they're just going to airback dash JB and do it again.
Yeah, that's my Seth flow chart right now, and I get owned at locals, so maybe it won't be as good.
So my thought on Seth is like because I tried to learn this character and I got humbled pretty hard. I just was like, oh man, it has nothing to do with the execution. A little bit does, but most of it is just like you were saying, Garm. His buttons are very good, but the turn is relatively short. So like you have to substantiate your offense like very, very quickly.
Yeah, he's been playing UNI2's this entire time, right? Because he's a character who has to constantly move in neutral and scramble, and not play this very, very safe controlled offense. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So his turns are short but sweet, and like the biggest grid that he gives out is just when he's moving in neutral, you can concentrate against him. Like that's kind of the big downside. So in that sense, I think that Seth will play the UNI2 system very, very well. Like potentially like the ceiling for that character is now just even a little bit higher. Which, like, I will be trying to play Seth a little bit in rollback. but that character is still pretty hard, I think.
Yeah. I've also have a newfound respect for Seth players after giving that character a go for the past month or so.
I don't.
I don't.
Defiance in the hater chair.
You know how many times I got hit by 5cc yesterday playing Execution? I was like, this dude has not used a single brain cell, but he's hit me 20 times and he only... Oh, don't get me started.
Why 5cc's don't hit like that, man? I don't get it. What's the secret?
I don't give Seth players credit with 5cc, bro. That shit is... Oh my god, man.
The character I'm dooming about in the next version a little bit, though, is Carmine. I'm kind of down on him on the next version.
I think that you are probably the most equipped to, like, as a player, to handle those changes. I feel like you already focus a lot on throw situations, and those are going to be like really important. I think that yes, you will still probably get like your triple wheel offensive sequences and so on. Like, yeah, that'll still happen, but I think just like playing the bomb mind games is going to be like so much more potent, so much more scary. So I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. If nothing else, I'll live vicariously through your pain.
I don't think I'm the most powerful bomb prankster Carmine player. I think that crown goes at 2 gig. I think his mind games are a lot better. Every NorCal player, when they play me, when they take a round off me or beat me in a game, they're like, "Man, 2 gig would have won that round. He would have baited my throw or something like that." And nothing tilts me more.
They're negging you.
Yeah. Smiles just eggs me with that comment after taking 1 round, and I get stun locked.
Is there anything specific, Pesto, that makes you like doomer about Carmine in the next version?
I think that the grid negative playstyle, guard thrust being an easier input on top of theoretically like not grid breaking you is a pretty big change too. But not having easier access to it, like it being currently just Vorpal if you need Vorpal and 100 meter in the next version or just 100 meter, that is a different limitation, but I think that limitation still kind of favors the defender versus Carmine because he loses cycles very often. There are so many times where I forfeit cycle on offense and I like don't even look at it while I have my opponent cornered because I'm more focused on getting advantaged with bomb.
You're just like, yeah, I know that you've got like 10 grid blocks. That's whatever.
Exactly. My opponent has 10 grid blocks, but I have something even more powerful. But if Celestial will tilt the Carmine risk reward very like even more heavily in the defender's favor, in that the whole strategy to play defense against that character is to block him out, find your opening either through like Veil Off or Mash, and bam, your opponent spent 3k of his health running offense versus you, right? And I got to kill him at 2 hits. Well, with Celestial, you might kill him with 1 hit, you know?
Yeah, you might actually.
Yeah, so that's a pretty huge, I think that's a pretty huge different change in dynamic to how you're going to play the character on offense. And hopefully the changes to throw defense will help compensate for that to make his offense more potent that way.
Yeah, you really don't want a character running up on you in this new game. Like, that situation is always just going to feel pretty bad. So if you're a character that has neutral dominant tools, you're kind of even more incentivized to use the threat of those to just come in and, you know, make them guess. Like, Silence Phonon is like, oh, okay, you respected the mids? All right, I'm holding 6 across the entire screen at you. Do something, you know, like. I do think that'll be an advantage of Carmine. Is like, on one hand, yeah, you have a lot of opportunities to go grid negative, but on the other hand, you also, if they are respectful of those threats, like, you also get a lot of offensive opportunities too. So I don't know.
He'll just be an even more difficult character to pilot, which I'm not looking forward to with Sarugi coming on the scene, eating glue and destroying my projectiles and charging in.
Yo, I really did feel for the Carmine Nation when the very first thing they showed of the gameplay was
This is the 6B parry. Yeah.
That was kind of
I
fun.
was like, man, Carmine players in shambles right now.
Are there any new character moves that have been announced? I don't know if you guys have seen all of them, but are there any moves that you guys think are going to be pretty good?
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, disco ball? Yeah.
So Lon got just like a what do you want to call it? It's like a Streets of Rage super. He just calls Ice Range the entire screen, and I cannot wait to use that. It looks so stupid. I'm gonna use it in the Yuzu matchup, that matchup, Merc matchup, like absolutely those, and plenty more too. Like, oh my god.
You get to set hail like it's Pokemon, dude.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm looking forward to character changes. Everyone got something. I know Wagner players are not super stoked about Change the Future. They're kind of like, okay, but yeah, what else do you got for us? You know, but
I've seen Wagner players ask to make that plus, and it makes me sick to my stomach. They don't need it.
Let them cook, bro. Let them cook.
Well, yeah, so I think with the exception of maybe Wagner players feeling like maybe their new tools aren't just quite as fun, quite as cool, I have heard nothing but good things about all these other character changes. Akatsuki EX parry looks like really not looking forward to dealing with that. That looks really, really cranked. I'm looking respectfully at Waldstein 22X, like that move looks kind of crazy. I think probably like the moves that I could kind of care less about are Mika and Eltnum both got kind of like a samey looking move, which is just like it almost looks like a universal overhead from a different game. It's just like a,
yeah, it kind of looks like a third strike universal overhead. Yeah.
Yeah.
BC.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, I think it's just supposed to be like a low crush or something, but I think that's like really the most underwhelming stuff that I've seen, but everything else has been pretty wowed on the like character changes.
I think the two supers I'm most intrigued by are the Seth vacuum orb and the Phonon install. I think the Phonon install has a lot of interesting applications. And with it being tied to meter, it'll be in the current version it might be harder to access, but with a lot of the meter economy changes, like we were saying, the stonks are up, I think she'll have more opportunities to use it than it seems on the surface. And the buffs that she gets from it are very interesting. And of course the Seth vacuum, I'm not looking forward to getting
Dude, it's gonna be so
that.
sick.
I'm gonna get twerked on in the corner with that corner steal. It's not gonna be okay.
Dude, it's gonna be so cool, man. Oh my god, the Seth vacuum.
His other new FF too is like a cross up overhead.
Yeah.
So even more mental stack.
The hope is that maybe they can use the new cross up overhead move as an ender to set up like a low vacuum orb just above you and just pretend to be Byakuya for a minute, where like you can't stand up but they're pressuring you with lows.
Oh my god, what?
We'll see.
Peak fiction. It's gonna be peak, dude. What do you mean, Pesto? It's gonna be so toxic.
What are we gonna call? What mix-up's that gonna be called?
That's the Byak setup. That's
yeah.
We'll see if they can actually set that up. But yeah, the vacuum orb does look pretty interesting.
If there's some special moves that I'm like really looking at, I mean, obviously I play Hyde. The pizza cutter. The pizza cutter is gonna make somebody upset, so I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. It's already making players upset. Like
he needed that, by the way.
I'm not even looking forward to the pizza cutter. It's just another fireball.
No, it's the anti-fireball. It'll beat all the fireballs.
How many other fireball characters are there in the game?
Not a lot, but yeah, that matters. You know, it matters a little bit. You know, I'm tired of
I
people
will
dying
say
to Akatsuki.
I will say it does look pretty ideal to be able to not just for projectile wars, but just to be able to throw up a wall. Like I used to say, like what would be so sick is if Londrekia 236B acted like what's the Guilty Gear character with the two swords and back stance?
Leo.
Leo
Thank
Fireball.
you. Yeah. So his fireball, like his heavy version of that, it's active before it moves, and that's like really significant when someone is just like coming up on you. So I feel like that's probably like the thing that I'm most envious about is like I would want that for Lawn 236B. It's never gonna happen. And but Hyde has it instead with the pizza cutter. Like so if someone's just coming at you, like we saw a Seth try and do 6-6C, and his 6-6C got counter hit by it because it's just like a big old active hitbox in front of him. I was like, damn. So yeah, I think that may be just as significant as like the Fireball War implications. Just being able to just like nope, I've got a shield up. Don't approach me.
Yeah, Zoner Hyde might be the best Hyde next version. It might be time to go back to my roots and be a Zoner Hyde once and for all. You know.
It's time to
But,
go back to the old me and pick Yuzu too.
Akatsuki's parry, his new parry follow up, is game changing. That this is my prediction. That right there is gonna make Akatsuki a meta character, bro. That new parry, unironically, gonna make him one of the best characters in the game. Because now he has, like, he can punish like things that he couldn't punish with parry before. Because he can just parry, spend his meter, and he'll like, bro, it's gonna be fucking crazy. Like, you see Akatsuki even matchup because he runs up, parries the slash. He's like, bitch. That shit's gonna be actually crazy.
You roll through Bisaki and they're like, oh no, I gotta press like 6A or 6C, and like, and they just do their EX parry. Like, I got him. Yeah,
that is broken.
I'm not looking forward to in the Lond matchup not really being able to use 4C follow-ups or whiffing B-Rekka after 4C. Like, please don't do this.
You can't even use Fireball Fox. If he's gonna parry everything in front of him. This is a losing match. This is a highly disadvantageous matchup now. Akatsuki, he might not like. He's kind of losing all of his flaws. Like, he's got roll now. His neutral's better. He's got the new parry. He can punish more stuff in neutral. This character is gonna be like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's top tier next version because it's easier to open people up. He's got way much more options to get in on people. He even has a new freaking fireball. Now he's an even more plus fireball, so he can just ignore shield and just do a IC increased fireball.
Yeah, and then you just whip your shields. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just like this character is gonna be so broken. Oh my god, he's gonna be so broken.
Defy, I needed motivation to do something else in my life. I don't want to live in a world where Akatsuki's a top tier. So
honestly, I'm considering playing Akatsuki, man.
I'll move on to another
crazy.
Game. I'll move on to another game. I'll be a KOF player and UNI2.
Nah, you gotta get ready, Pesto. Also, dude, another really game changing one, the Wald Stomp. Like,
looking respectfully at it, yeah.
Wald might be a very good character next version too, dude. He's gonna be so good because he has a way to like challenge like he's gonna be able to challenge like a character like Hilda so much more easily now. That's crazy.
I was kind of hoping they'd give Wald like a Potemkin flick. That would have been really cool.
Oh yeah.
They gave him a less cool kind of.
No, the stomp is cool.
A lot of he can already break projectiles with his all of his normals. So
why would he need that? He needed what's the move where isn't it slide head, the one where he falls over?
Yeah, slide head. Yeah. Well,
he needs this full screen slam, man. Now he's
the idea for flick is you turn the projectile into your own projectile, then assault behind it, and then you just.
Do you want that?
Yeah, that sounds awful, actually.
Do you want that Pesto for
okay, so the startup of force function actually does kill projectiles, so you can kind of do that.
True.
How are we feeling about Byakuya 22X?
Oh!
Sleepy move? I don't know.
He's Carmine. He's Carmine now.
What'd you say, Garm?
Are you saying Garm?
I don't think it does that much, right?
I mean, so the
It's
thing
just a
that seems
conversion.
significant to me about it is, I talked with Red about this in ST. Byakuya can definitely push himself out of his effective range. Whenever he's using like tip 5C, it's always like, you know, I might just press here and I might be right 90% of the time. It's that or they commit to 236B and I dash block into it and they're -8 and I just,
Mhm.
guarantee punish them. So that whole spacing for Byakuya feels a little awkward. But if you can like 5C, 2-2B, get a counter hit, get a full combo from that meterlessly, that's like, I don't know, that feels pretty significant to me. That and I don't know how plus 2-2C will be, or like if that will really be used as a pressure reset very
Yeah,
much.
plus
But
frames now.
yeah, having access to plus frames at all was like never something that I thought that never something
Byakuya
that I thought
needed.
that Byakuya
He
would
doesn't
have
need that.
access to with meter, but
Yeah.
instead, no, we're gonna see like full Rekka string 2-2C, and that's kind of, I don't know, that's wild.
I
It's
think
also just real quick. I want to say it's also a
yeah.
low, which gives him another low option because
Yeah,
he doesn't have very well. He has 2B and 2C, and he had 3C, but 3C is now a mid.
Mm.
So
it does look like 2-2C comes out fairly quick, and it looks like it can pick up with 6-6C, probably even full screen. So, in matchups like Vatista, where that if she can get barrier out to get multiple partitions happening, that's like that was like currently it's a very hold this situation. It's just like, oh, okay. But if instead now, as soon as Vat is like trying to set something up from full screen, and Byakuya is just like, no, 2-2C, yeah, that's gonna change the dynamic quite a bit. Like I don't like that dynamic at all in the Carmine matchup, so I can only like it all the less in the Byakuya matchup.
I
Or
think
like you
what
or like
oh
you
go
go to
ahead.
walk away from Byakuya mid screen and he just snipes you. Yeah, that's scary.
Oh, he just snipes your ankles from across the screen and then 2-2C pick up off of a full screen. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
standard character.
I think one of the reasons why 22X is so strong on Carmine though is the puddle that it leaves afterwards. So he can threaten DP after. I'm not sure if Byakuya has a threat that can substantiate the pressure loop as well as Carmine does off of 22X.
No.
So I think it won't be as strong on him, but I don't see why anybody thought it was a good idea to give that character a plus ring special move.
It
yeah,
did come at a cost for sure.
Yeah.
I am very happy with the changes to webs. I think those are good changes. Not getting grid stolen like 2-3 times a combo, not getting it stolen on block. Like, yeah, that's all good with me. I'm pretty happy about that.
yeah.
But
They also don't steal grid when you destroy them, and they also die to A normals.
So
Rest in peace.
what characters do you guys think are kind of looking down in the next version? I think
Hilda.
Gordeau is like looking pretty good, but he didn't really get much substantial changes.
I
I think the
think
system mechanics are good for him, but
yes, I think
yeah.
that Gord is mostly buffed by the system mechanics, although the new 6-6 FF looks pretty funny. That looks
Yeah.
like I hope you're paying attention, or otherwise I'm just in, and I wasn't really sure how useful that would be, and then I played a few games as Gord, and I was like, wow, that does feel like a really nice spot in his neutral. But yeah, I think with Gord it's mostly system changes. Yeah, I think the biggest loser really might be Hilda. Um, for as much as that new VO will be nice, there are a couple other targeted changes to her. Like her back spike looks significantly worse. Her A spike is also uh, worse, both in the sense of like on block and also the hit stun, I guess, is a little reduced. So that'll be a little tighter. So yeah, Hilda players are kind of going through it. I feel for Mawaru a little bit. Mawaru
Deserved.
really going through it. Um, I don't know what to think of Chaos yet. Like the
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like because of the anormal change, anormal's killing Ozzy. It's like how are you supposed to frame trap from full screen anymore without Vorpal and 6-2-6-2-3 like the invul
Mhm.
moves? like, do all of his Aussie specials just have invul on startup now? Like, how's that supposed to work? I don't know. If I'm a Chaos player, I'm probably pretty nervous that my full screen presence just got reduced by a lot. But I don't know. There's a lot more to unpack there. Like, if he does have Ozzy has invul on all the startups of his specials, then that's absolutely fine, and he's just looking, better than ever. But I don't know.
I think Chaos players are definitely like chomping at the bit to get their hands on this version to see what's going on. They have to make a lot of interesting changes to maybe like the pushback of Ozzy or the frame data of Ozzy, or add invul into the startup moves in order to keep the similar pressure loop on their opponent full screen. I think like a lot of anormals will be fast to kill him, but if Ozzy pushes back more, then that might eliminate that risk. But we'll see how that turns out for him.
Maybe I was just thinking, like, of the Chaos that I've played, some people will be very brave, and I'll up back and I'll 2-3-6x, and like Wagner 5B is just immediately coming out, and I'm just immediately getting killed. So you, against those players who are very active, you have to like 2-3-6A, just immediately 2-2A, and try and catch their button with bite. But if it's an A normal, it's like, is that even going to be possible?
No, it's not. It's not possible.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Chaos might be the worst character in the game next version, dude. You might be the worst character in the
There's no
game.
way.
I'm never sleeping on this character, dude. Never.
I will, because there's a lot of changes that kind of fuck him up. Like he can't really do roll mix anymore either, right? So
well, so the thing is, he doesn't necessarily need to roll, though. He can actually just jump over you, and when Jake has done that to me, I've been like, oh, well, screw roll. Like, this is actually better. Because roll, like, for the thousands of games I've played against Chaos, it's like my brain is attuned to listen to the or whatever it is, the voice line of like, I'm going now. Whoop. Yeah. So if I don't hear that, if it's just silent, I'm like, ooh, that's that feels suddenly like Carmine fuzzy, like it's just it just happens. So I wouldn't say that the left right stuff is dead for him at all. Like, I think all that stuff is still in. It's just pressure is a big question mark. So yeah, I think Hilda and Chaos are looking a little bit sus. Eltnum might get enough to kind of pull her out of the. Right now, she's kind of considered to be in a competitive rut. Like, she's not looking so hot.
She's always been really good. They need to calm down. She's always.
Eltnum is so broke.
She's
Eltnum
so
is such a broken, brain dead character, and no one knows it. But next version, when them fellas come back, they will know the wrath of Eltnum. This character has always been very good. It's just this game's not active enough, so we don't really have enough people putting in the effort to show how strong she really is. Because there's no way this character is bad when she basically has every single tool in the game. She's literally not missing really anything.
She is very much a jack of all trades kind of character, but her reward on certain things is very low until she gets resources. She is very like resource dependent. But I don't think that there is another character that I'm as scared to run pressure on in the current version than Eltnum with 100-meter and CS. Like, that feels really, really bad.
She's like a top tier defensive character, 100%.
That's what I've been saying. Like, tell me you play Omni and you feel comfortable doing anything against him, bro. Because I don't. I never do, because that motherfucker's gonna randomly 5A, randomly C-Sync. Like, you don't even need CS. If you know good C-Sync spots, that's just guaranteed punishes. Yeah. I literally can't use 6B in some cases because 421 just punishes it. Or, like, FF, or, like, just, like, a lot of stuff. That character is fucking enabled on defense, bro. It's a melty character. Who would have guessed it? She's top 3 defensive character in the game. That's melty characters. They got good defense, like insanely obnoxious defensive options.
It seems in the current local tests that people are playing on, the C-sync damage is very low off of the
Yeah.
combo.
Thank God.
But we'll see if
Yeah.
that stays. I mean, who knows? That might get reverted.
However, so that may be true, but to a counterpoint to that is that it looks like a lot of her damage on her normals has been moved up a little bit. So her meterless damage looks a little bit higher. Like I was saying earlier, like meterless damage seems to be really, really valuable. So it looks like she's going to have all the more of that. Damage has always historically been Eltnum's thing, so it seems like they're pushing her back in that direction. So, but honestly, outside of like Hilda and Chaos, it's hard to look at the cast and see any character that's like left out. You know, like everyone looks pretty cracked. Everyone looks like a pretty good option, except for Hilda.
I
Maybe,
agree.
yeah.
I agree.
I was kind of hoping they'd. I know Merkava's kit is like stuffed to the brim with stuff, but his new move is just like an easier way to fly. I don't know.
Why?
It feels kind of like a waste opportunity to get
No,
things going.
Pesto,
for him.
no. You do not want them to give this character more stuff, man.
I
like all the new stuff, but I think, in my eyes, they could have removed some things from some characters. I mean, they kind of are with some things, but this game's power level just keeps getting higher and higher, and I feel like some characters might need to cap out. Like some characters don't really need anything too crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't think Gord really needed anything too crazy. He kind of didn't get anything too crazy besides the new move is like cool, I guess, but all he really needed was like a faster 5C, to be honest, because the characters fine are like what's a good example? Like
I was
don't know.
surprised that I had a very tinfoil hat theory that they might break up some of the new stuff that Vatista got into different characters. And that definitely didn't happen. She has everything and more. I was like obviously I was like pleasantly surprised, like everyone was, that she can now be counter hit and that you can destroy gems. So that will fundamentally change like a lot of strategy around the character. But when I saw 5cc, I was like, where?
Yeah, 5cc looks absolutely awesome.
Get that move out of here, dude. What the hell?
Do we
It's
know
cool.
if 5cc's whiff cancelable?
It's not whiff cancelable.
No,
It's not whiff cancelable.
But how are you whiffing Vatista 5C?
That's what I'm saying. You're never gonna whiff it.
If you whiff that move, you might need to pick a different character.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
The point really with that move, by the way, if you don't like really see the implication here outside of just like further pushback on block strings, like an even further reach. So B-ball is like really, really potent, and 5C B-ball kind of gives 5C a better reason to be used, but it still often will only connect on counter hit. Or, like there are still situations where like you'll hit 5C and the B-ball will just, end up not connecting, or it'll just connect on block. So what 5cc does is it puts them in the little what do you want to call it? The animation where they get knocked on their butt. Yeah, it like knocks them up. Yeah, crumple. Thank you. Yeah, so 5cc will crumple so that B-ball always will connect. So it gives her mid-range a little more potency there, that like, if you're just running at her and she sticks out 5cc, you are actually taking consistent damage from it, like, a little over 2k consistently. Whereas in previous versions, it was like, it almost wasn't worth sticking out your 5C because you just didn't get much reward off of it at all. So already her ground game with B-ball was like as good as it's ever been by far in the current version, and 5cc is just like icing on the cake. I was like, man, that's all right. But hey, we can be counter hit, so the people will be happy.
Distract them.
People called me crazy saying that Carmine wouldn't make that counter hittable, but I had faith. I held faith. I had my Bible in hand. I had faith that he would do that. I did not expect for him to make gems breakable, but I did absolutely expect that to be counter hittable next version.
I feel like Kamone didn't want to make gems hittable, but then like, I don't know, like an executive at French Bread was like, dude, like you gotta stop, like this character's It feels like too appropriate of a balance change that nobody really expected to happen, you know?
I never thought that would happen because I always thought of that as like, see, like every other set play character, the whole point is that you set something up to do something, and then you sit back, you won, and your set play item does the work for you.
Mhm.
And I was like, but that will never be the case for VAT because the whole point is you stick it out and then it stays there, but you have to activate it. Like that's the limitation. So for it to be as vulnerable as Seth Orb, but also have the parameter of, but you gotta be the one to blow it up, is like, it really makes makes my gears turn. Like, and it makes me more excited to play Vatista, honestly, having something like that as a limitation because personally, sitting behind Jim and not doing anything was like the least fun I had with the character. I know Lolly Maiko is molding. I'm sorry. If you're into that, like you're really not liking it. But I think it'll change the strategy for winning Vorpal a lot too, because like for the longest time the flowchart was like, yeah, you just need to get a gem out so that you can be at liberty to concentrate, because you can't concentrate and use any special move. That's the limitation of that. So you got to have a gem out to cover you. But now it's like, like, do I put a gem out and start concentrating and then just chill so that they poke me and I shield and get grid that way? Like, I don't know. The mind games look like they're going to go a little bit deeper. And at first I wasn't sure how to feel about it, but now I'm pretty excited.
I do want to... Go ahead.
Go ahead. They're making your character more mortal, so you're finding it more fun. That's very heartwarming.
Unironically, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, limitations are, people, love to flaunt, buffs this, buffs that, but limitations is really what makes fighting games good. Characters having limitations is what makes it fun, because, no one wants to be like fucking God, it's gonna get boring, dude.
Yeah, contrary to like what all of Twitter will tell you, like fighting games are fun because of the player interactions, and like having limitations and weaknesses to moves is what makes the decision making a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
I do want
to. Do you have any character you think that's going to be weak, Garm?
I'm not feeling too hot about Hyde, but I feel like that's just because I main this character, so I'm coping. Yes, that's what I had to say before Defiant came in and complained about Hyde. But yeah, I think Hyde might not be that good. I don't know. Like you were saying earlier, maybe Zoner Hyde will be good, but like on all other aspects, like why wouldn't you play Akatsuki, right?
Oh, you're so right.
My
it's
goodness.
I'm getting out.
I know it's a huge coat, but
I'm getting out of
I don't usually
right now.
Well, I have to send it this one time. I don't feel so good about the character. I'm looking forward to playing Mika next version. Not Hyde.
I believe in the Garm Mika. I believe. But okay, one thing I will say about Hyde though. So as far as OS situations go, something that didn't really come up earlier is I think that backdash OS offensively will be pretty useful, especially when people have 100 meter and you're not a character that has like specific canned setups to bait veil off. I think that dashing up in someone's face and then using backdash OS, that will be pretty good. And I think that Hyde will be like top 3 at abusing that, maybe it's probably the same for Akatsuki.
I was about to say that's right.
But I'm just saying Hyde, dash block in my face, backdash OS 6B will be better than it ever has been. It will be very alive and kicking.
Yeah, I do think Hyde is quite a good shimmy character.
I can't wait to show this to Chi and have him like witness all the Hyde players like, oh man, it's over. I gotta switch to Akatsuki.
Dude, it's like the Wagner players saying they're gonna switch to Hyde in this version.
Right? How are any of the Wagner players looking forward to playing Hyde when they have Wagner right there? She doesn't have like, she can just sit on -1, like a that's like also a frame trap, and they're over here saying I'm gonna switch to Hyde. It's so ridiculous.
You're becoming the villain that you hated from ST to clear, dude. You're doing the same cope, but with Akatsuki. It's insane.
You're a
Makes me
Hyde.
sick to my stomach.
Welcome
No,
to
I
the
mean I'll
dark
still try to
side.
play Hyde. We'll see how it goes, right?
Welcome to the dark side, Garm.
But I've stuck to this character for so long, and this is the first time where I'm really like I don't feel so good.
It took you long enough. It finally happened, dude. Every time I complained about Hyde, he's like, "Bro, you're trolling." But now,
Yeah, because clear Hyde is so good, but
Clear Hyde's like 6th or 5th or something. But you didn't hear that from me, okay? You didn't hear that from me.
oh
Mhm.
wow.
Oh
That,
my.
that character's broken.
So
Spicy.
Divine Valley admits it while we're on the way out, huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Winning with a top tier, of course. That's the
Yeah,
only way it could have
that
been done.
character's strong. It's just when you play net play so much, that character doesn't function. But offline, nah, that character's broken.
I do want to
Okay.
touch on. We briefly mentioned Gordeau because I've talked to a few of the Gordeau players like Eggplant and Noctis and Rido about the new move, the 666FF, and I think it fills like a weird hole in his neutral. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but it also like it low crushes, but it also hits behind them. So
Yes.
dash
yes.
blocking underneath it isn't really gonna be like super strong counterplay. It's also safe on block, so it's probably like -2 or -3, and it's also an overhead. So
What the hell?
yeah. It'll also
Choose.
I think it'll also be really good too on 22A, the 22A mind game, because you guys probably know, but like when Gordeau, if he does like 2 buttons into 22A, he's kind of spaced out at this weird range where he pretty much has to press 5C in order to like for any of his normals to actually connect. And that's also a situation where Gordeau will backdash right. So lots of people will do, like Linne dash 2C is really good against Gordeau because you can catch the backdash, but 66FF will jump over that, and also it hits behind them, so I think it'll be really good against. I think it'll be really good in 22A pressure and also neutral, because if you're trying to catch his backdash and he does 66FF, it counter hits you. You could put in a crumple, he gets a big combo. I think it'll be really good.
Interesting.
I think a lot of, we had mentioned system mechanics helping him. Like a lot of the things that hold him back in the current system are things like, oh, well, he doesn't have a Vorpal strip, or not a very good one, and it's like, well, now who cares? Like now it that really doesn't matter, and he has that added benefit of they did nerf it across the cast, but like a tiny little bit of grid steal during his combos, and like Seth, short turns, short but sweet, substantial offense is a good way to not give the opponent Celestial. So yeah, I know there are a couple players looking at Gordeau like yeah, you might be like a really solid pick next version. One of them actually is Big Black. Big Black is
Oh
like,
my god.
yeah, Big Black is like, character might be pretty good. More people might be hopping on this character, and I was like, what about you? And he's like, yeah, maybe.
I think
He was like, yeah.
I think also the like rapid cancel 5A change from 8A to 4A gives Gordeau a staggerable low, which he also has 4 lows already, and I think that makes his pressure even more scary.
What the hell? And an overhead on command.
No,
with
I'm
6
glad. I want Gordeau to be good, so I don't feel bad about losing to Gordeau anymore.
That's
No,
the proper way
does-
of looking at it.
I think also another limitation that Gordeau has in the current version, like that we all know of, is that his OSs aren't the best, right? You've seen 2C startup get counter hit all the time. So I actually just had the thought, I wonder if like 3D AD is going to be a new OS in the game where like if they assault, it might be minus on assault, but you will roll like past them out of the corner and then you plink AD to take a throw. So that could also be something that helps Gordeau's defenses, the roll.
I don't know. I don't know about if we'll really use that too much as an option select, but I do absolutely agree that roll will help his defense a lot, and honestly, just having 14 frame VO will be a big help too.
Yeah.
Because yeah, struggling on defense until he gets 100 meter is also like kind of one of his problems. So especially in like the Hyde matchup, you roll through Hyde FF. Yeah, stuff like that might be good.
I was thinking Gordeau and like Chaos. I think those characters are kind of held back by like, oh, I need to 1 AD on defense to tech a throw, right? So like maybe they'll just become, maybe the players will be more enabled to mash more and like improve that way. I think Chaos has always been like the character to never OS on and always just find your mash point. And the Chaoses that are kind of held back by thinking I need to play patiently in OS. No, I think that character should just bust out all the time and every
That's
time.
a masher. That's a mashing
That's
character.
a matcher's character.
So I tried to learn some Chaos, and my intention at the time was, I play Vatista, and I'm pretty carried on defense. Like I have a very, it's either 5A, which is incredibly good, or it's Flash Kick. So I don't feel very threatened very often. So I want to play this Chaos character just to improve my defensive fundamentals. It didn't work. I just ended up mashing more, like a lot more. So I don't know. Maybe
for
that's
mashing
to your
out
point.
on Chaos is too
That
high.
is defensive fundamentals. Defensive fundamentals is mashing. If you're a better masher, why would you need to OS in the first place? Just do it.
The reward is huge, like Garm said. It's huge.
Just press, sometimes I randomly press 6B and that shit work. That's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do sometimes.
I just really hope, I mentioned it earlier, but I really hope Merkava comes back to the scene. I'm feeling kind of nostalgic. I was just yesterday. I was watching Climax 2019, and I was watching Breaker Dave cook with that character, and I was thinking, man, like I feel like I haven't seen this character nearly as much as I should have in the last 3 years, and I don't even know.
What happened? Where did they go? But I think nature is healing. I think we'll see a little bit Merkava back. I do think 2360 is going to be a little bit more contextual. Also, everyone having a throw punish on it, I'm sure a lot of people are very happy about that. So that at least tones down the toxicity a little bit,
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see that character on the screen a little more. I can't wait to play that character against that character as Lond more and just like foresee the hurtbox extensions and stuff like that. Like that's so fun. That's what every Uni player wants to do. Really, at the end of the day, is just like do some cool combo from full screen that punishes Merkava 5C and yeah.
Yeah. Now that we can assault over it, though, it'll feel less necessary, but still.
Maybe,
yeah, UNI2's about to be the most neutral heavy Under Night game we've ever seen, probably. It's probably going to be the most neutral heavy because of Brawl and Assault getting slightly changed, and like even just how the pressure is. You might not just want to do like such long pressure that much anymore because like there's nothing wrong with just giving up and going back to neutral because you have the advantage. You're closer to mid screen anyway in the first place, so you get the better grid charge as well. So like this game is gonna be very like once again it's still gonna be the top tiers are still gonna be zoners obviously because they're the ones that play neutral, they control neutral, yada
yeah,
yada.
like Hyde. Yeah.
But like. Wait, what?
Oh, one Hyde change I'm actually looking forward to is actually the 214C on block change.
Oh yeah.
Because 214C is like a 5-frame option, so realistically you can use it to like throw out some interesting punishes or just to contest something, and it sends them across the screen like Wagner Shield Bash does on block now. So that's gonna be fun.
Peak Fiction.
Is it plus now?
I don't think it's plus, but it just creates
just like a neutral
space.
reset.
Yeah, you just block string into it and then force him to play neutral again.
Yeah, you don't die now. So Zoner Hyde is the future, man. You're gonna do a block string 214C and then you throw out the pizza cutter. Oh my god.
Oh no.
I don't know if you guys I don't know if you guys have seen Enkidu's new like EX command grab. So we talked about roll, right, and how it's if you throw it and they didn't dodge anything, it's a grid break punish. So I think there's potential where like rolling against characters like Enkidu and Mika is going to be really scary because also the Enkidu 360 is also a combo starter. So you'll get grid broken and then you'll eat a full combo. And also grid, it looks like in the Tsurugi trailer that grid break starters actually give you like a damage buff. So I think rolling against characters like Enkidu and Mika like almost might be a non-option.
So I'll just never be able to escape their pressure, huh?
I think doing stuff like Rekka 2 and then seeing if they green shield and getting your like full combo if they green shield, that sounds pretty cheap to me. If nothing else, we're gonna see that as an ender in the corner a lot because it looks like it gives a more proper knockdown than 2-3-6C, which is
It actually doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't?
It actually looks worse. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I thought I saw a combo ended with it, and they actually like teched off the ground, and I was like, oh, good, I don't have to deal with this like air tech stuff.
At least maybe on the combo you saw, but I've definitely seen on like maybe the combo is more prorated, but they definitely just air teched, and then it would look like the same as 2-3-6C.
Man, I just want him to have an EX ender that doesn't like put me in an air tech state. I don't even like it as like the defender. I can only imagine how bad it feels like.
You gotta make up the mix up. Have you seen my Enkidu mix up Fox up? You can mix people. You can mix people so hard with it's so funny. Oh my god.
I hate getting left righted off that ender. It makes me so mad.
Dude, I wish I had comboed BB. I hit BB with the nastiest. That was aluminum mix up and he got hit. I was like, oh my god.
Dude, and Smile Pants is showing me like some left rights he has off of a God Press. I just like hate the wall bounce air tech situation. It's
I hate it. I hate
it's
it.
so stupid.
It's not a bad spot to be in, man.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys see the Waldstein jump C change?
No, I didn't.
No.
What's that?
About when you shield it, you can 5A on now. 5-frame punish.
Okay.
Actually, you know what a wall change I forgot about is he can, I don't know if you guys know this, he can increase his normal throw.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was kind of wondering, like, where are we ever going to see this? Like, what is that going to be used for? And I'm still not entirely sure.
I think Walt throw range is larger than everybody else's, so
yeah, it is.
You have the opportunity.
I suppose if you have the awareness, you can forward throw instead of back throw when you're in the corner and just increase it for that extra damage. Give yourself a little space to work with, but yeah, that is a strange one. That's like, you know, just like the side swap element is like, huh. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that yet. But yeah, I guess it will help with certain punishes.
I think the side swap could be really helpful for his defense, considering like sometimes Wald players get away with stand tech on defense due to the extended throw range, so he'd be able to get the side swap off of that situation. And
well, but the thing is, you're already like, okay, let's say I'm Wald and I abare throw in the corner, it works. I throw you back into the corner. But if I increase it, then I'm back in the corner, and it's like, huh? So I have to forward throw you, but then increase it if I want to. If my back is to the corner and I want you there, you know.
True.
So I'm curious how they will end up using this. I'm not sure myself.
I think I got it in my head. I got it theorized because Wald command grab doesn't really give him it doesn't give him any grid. Doesn't really give him any grid, but it leaves him like right in front of the opponent, like right in front of him, like he is mouth breathing on this character.
You kind of get your 720 Oki if you throw them back in the corner, right?
Yeah, so there's a good reason, I guess, to maybe mix, because there's not really a reason to mix between throw and you should always command grab on Wald. If you're throwing, like you're throwing basically. Why are you throwing? To be honest. But now there's a reason because you'll get the benefits of like you'll get the grid and you'll get the throw does a lot of damage. It does a lot of damage. And you get the Oki right in front of them, so you can go for like another throw and then just loop it because you're just constantly in front of them, or you just command grab them. So
you don't understand the mind break capabilities of Wald TRM versus you is it's immeasurable. If you've been TRM by Wald before, it kind of just mind breaks you for like 3 games. So I think normal throwing with him is kind of it's kind of legit that way.
it is throwing. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be good for like really like good loopage. It's gonna be good to loop, and then because you get them scared of the command grab, and then they'll just probably not be trying to tech at all. So you'll just go for that throw, sneak out some more cycles.
Yeah, another character I want to mention quickly, and then we should start wrapping things up. The new Pesto briefly mentioned it. The new Phonon install has some cool effects on her special moves that'll make them like have multi hits and more plus. But I think it's gonna be like a budget cut version of B Pillar CS, where you just do B Pillar into install activation and then use that as like a chain shift YRC moment to pick up.
So cheap.
Well,
it
now
seems
she-
like
she gets
some
a-
awkward
Oh,
hits.
sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say some awkward hits like a close range 623A might be a lot easier to confirm. That's stuff like that sounds really nice, and also stuff like giving places to green shield and pressure, and then canceling to the install and grid break throwing them. Like that sounds really good.
I think, I mean, she's gonna have access to the 6FF safe meaty like whenever she has 100-meter now, and she doesn't have to like throw any X fireball at you for you to shield. And also, it makes picking up off of like random B pillars. Yeah, it is just kind of like budget chain shift.
It's like a angry scar from SF for Sagat. You get like a
yeah.
little buff.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta pause the screen.
Wait, there's one more character we're missing that we're forgetting about. That's gonna be broken next version, bro. It's Nanase.
I
She's
was
got
gonna
Milia.
say.
She's got Milia disc. Why?
So
Why?
the thing about this beyond Oki implications, is that before she had no safe special cancel in a block string. Like you kind of had to force function J2368. Like that was kind of your go-to. But now she has a special move that is safe on block that you can use in block strings anywhere. It's like -3. I'm sure it picks up on counter hit. So that changes dynamics for her quite a bit. Like before, she used to be very unique in that sense for a uni character that like you can't just throw out a special move. You'll get punished if you don't have resources, or you have to do this weird like low to the ground force function air fireball cancel, and if you can't, like you're kind of locked out of a lot of good stuff that the character does. Now it's just like, yeah, you just press 22A and you're -3 with pushback, you're good. It's just like any other uni character. So.
It's Jover, man. This character is broken now. Nanase top 5. Nanase top 5.
Fox, it's funny you mentioned that like super practical application of 2-2, and all I've been hearing from Nanase players is, oh, how can I set up 2-2C to run mix-ups?
Yeah, who cares about that? We want mix, Pesto. The 4-ways are gonna be crazy, dude. You're actually gonna get schmixed by this character, man.
That move seems kind of limited. I don't know. People aren't very excited about the left-right implications, or the fuzzy implications of it seem kind of limited, and I'm not sure about the left-rights yet. We'll see how it turns out.
Nah, like FF, like the way it fucks with cross-up protection, that shit's gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
Like, just give him a month, Pesto, and you're gonna be like, never mind, I take everything back. Bro. give them a month in the lab, they're gonna create some absolute freaking grime, man.
Honestly, players are scientists for sure. They'll figure some stuff out.
Yeah, but that's pretty much most of the important character, like the ones that stick out to me the most, to be honest. So, like, there is Orie as well. She got like the airstrike or whatever, but I'm not really worried about something like that. I don't know. So.
Yeah, I don't know what how the thrust follow up like. I don't know. I think you can do the thrust follow up into the new EX move and then combo, but I don't really know what the thrust follow up is gonna do.
I have no clue either.
I don't know. I think the character is just gonna really benefit a lot from system mechanic changes and be strong that way. And the BDP being invuln is very nice because it really helps with her
true.
meter economy. All in all, I think that character is going to be in a really good spot in the next version.
Orie players don't want to block.
She was kind of like Merkava, and that she didn't really need a lot to really make her kit feel more solid, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think we talked about like every single character. I think
Not Linne.
except
we
Linne and Mika.
We didn't talk about them very much. I mean, Linne's new thing is also a 6/6 FF. It seems like Wagner and Linne both got a don't up back away from me kind of move that they can cancel off of, and so she's got that. Her Hien input is a little bit easier. It's now 2/2x instead of a half circle. So, but
yeah, she has the new Kuga follow up as well.
Oh yeah. So being able to frame trap after blocked Kuga, also kind of a big deal. Reportedly 0 on block, so she can kind of just get in versus some characters and just RPS, which is like very much what the character wants to do. She just wants to get in your face and RPS, so that just helps her. But it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't feel like those changes are gonna change Linne very much. Like she still seems like she's gonna be, running the same game plan for sure.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I think the EXN being on 2/2C is going to be pretty obnoxious. But somebody did report at the playtest in Japan that it looks like EXN is now punishable by B buttons. So, like, which I think is actually a very fair change because EXN, like, I don't think it got shot like Eltnum EX Sync did, where it's like a way worse starter. I don't think the damage on it changed. So I think it's going to be really good on 2/2x, and then I think it's also, good for the other players that it's going to be punishable by V buttons.
I'm so happy. You couldn't have said anything else to make me more happy.
Also, the new dash FF. So we haven't actually seen it really on block, but when I think it was Kimone or Clearlamp was playing at the Japan playtest on stream, you can actually cancel the 6/6 FF into normals on hit. So I don't know if it's going to be the same way on block, but I think that'll be really nice for her to be able to pick up on stuff like that. And then also it looks like it might leave her in the air and just leave her like air neutral so she can do whatever if you just no cancel it. Which she has a lot of good air options. So I think it could be kind of funny. I don't think it's going to be that great on block, but I think, again, catching like Yuzu trying to up back, I think is going to be really nice for that.
Oh yeah. So what did Mika get outside of that little
Lariat and the short hop?
She has the lariat.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now she can blow through projectiles. That's
also her 360 is like 5 frames now, so it's been normalized. I think.
Oh, I saw a clip
I don't feel like Mika got too much.
I saw a clip of her 3B like going through the opponent on block.
Oh,
like if you're too close, you cross up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I think Mika just benefits very, very much from the system changes and potential meta changes, because she also never really had like a very good strip route, and the 214. Well, I mean, people probably won't roll against her, I think.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Mika, man. Oh man, come on.
The 5A, the 8A to 5A, 4A change too. She can just 5A in your face.
Cheap, man.
Yeah, she's also a character who's sort of been playing UNI2 in clear. It feels like.
I think Mika and Wald and who else is a character that can grab green shields from afar?
Eltnum soon.
Eltnum soon. I think that functionality is going to be really useful in the next version, considering how often people are going to want a shield. So
yeah,
that's going to be another huge system mechanic change that'll benefit them as well.
But I just wanted to hear from every single one of you as I guess our closing thoughts. Like what what characters are you going to like what characters are you gonna like mess around with where you're trying to see who do you think you're gonna main and stuff like that? Because for me, like obviously I'm gonna try Hyde because I love Hyde, but also I really think that Lon is gonna be like
Sir,
high tier.
time.
He could unironically be a very he could be a meta character finally because the throw is good. He's got that like full screen bullshit and I think Hyde's gonna fall off pretty hard because Strip's gone. He's a very he's just you can't just give out grid that much and what made Hyde so good is that you can just do stuff and it doesn't really matter because that character is very enabled by Vorpal Strip. He's very enabled. I mean, you could play around it, but it's just not the way I want to play Hyde. So I'm really looking at Lond, and then if Kuon's just better Hyde, then I'm just gonna play Kuon, bro.
Dude, is
So-
everyone gonna be better Hyde? Is
no,
Akatsuki better Hyde?
Kuon has
better
like
Hyde?
5 million Hyde swords, dude. If he's like doing the same thing,
Wait,
just,
you're
like-
right. He's
Yeah,
plot
yeah,
he's plot more better.
yeah, but they're fake insulators, so you know.
he's
Yeah,
got his own later.
I am also I'm very curious about what Kuon does. That might be the DLC character that I gravitate towards the most, but I am very much looking forward to the lawn changes, and I think that's going to be my focus. But like we were saying before, like actually, I am more attracted to come back to that and like try her out because of the nerfs than I am the new stuff. You know, because the strategy and the way that things will change in like the neutral and stuff like that is really interesting to me. So I will still want to like try that out. Competitively, yeah, Lon might still be the focus. As far as other characters, like I want to try out some new Carmine stuff. I really enjoy playing Seth, but I'm very bad at it. So I may like continue to practice that a little bit and roll back, and that will feel much better than practicing Seth and delay. But yeah, basically those five-ish characters: Lon the focus, Vatista, Kuon, Carmine, and Seth. Like that's and I'll be happy as a clam. Like I'm so looking forward to getting my hands on all those characters.
Real quick, actually, is any of the for you talking about playing Carmine, are any of the new moves maybe making you interested in him? Because we didn't really talk about Carmine as the new.
So I know that his J3C, the dive kick move that he got, is reportedly not very good, but I'm still very curious to mess with it.
Yeah.
His 6/6 FF, I have no idea what to think yet. But yeah, I'm really curious about this dive kick function. I really felt like early on, like week one playing the game, I was like, why doesn't this character have a dive kick? And everyone I've mentioned it to is always like giving me the weirdest look. So I feel super vindicated. I feel like Komone must have listened to me specifically on this and was like, here you go. So I can't ignore that. Like, you know, I got to try that out. Obviously, that's a really high maintenance character, so that's not something that I'm just gonna hop right into. Definitely, the first couple months are going to be more like learning some of the DLC characters and brushing up on like new lawn stuff and VAT stuff. But yeah, I'll make my way there because he looks really cool, you know.
Garfield?
Oh,
about you?
yeah, me. I hate learning and figuring out new stuff, so I'm just gonna try Hyde, try Mika, try Phonon, and then after like a month, copy what Pesto's doing on Tsurugi. That's my plan for now.
Dude, you spoiled that big surprise. That's messed up.
Yeah,
Hates
where's
learning new
Tsurugi
stuff,
bonus?
but plays half the cast.
No, that I'm gonna try Tsurugi. I think
Oh,
that's the character
man.
I want to play.
Pesto,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
I'm not gonna like. I think I'm still gonna stick with Carmine as my like competitive quote unquote main. And I think Carmine is just like too much fun of a character and has such like a high like. There's just so much stuff going on with the character. There's like so much stuff to develop and learn, and there's always stuff to improve on. But Tsurugi just looks like Garm said it in like a server a while ago. I thought it was just hilarious. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
looks like you're just playing an NPC. compared to the
Yeah,
rest of the
yeah.
cast.
It looks like booting up the Yu-Gi-Oh game and picking Tristan. Like no one wants to lose to Tristan, right? But you want to beat people up with Tristan.
He just looks like
So-
he's gonna be so funny to play, and like the way he's gonna function too. I love it. He sticks out like a
Yeah, I'm
sore
excited.
thumb in the cast. It's so funny.
It's gonna be peak, man.
He looks like
Yeah.
a DFCI character. You know?
Yeah. Looks like
That's
a Tsukihime character.
That's
That's
just
what
most new French Red characters look like DFCI characters. Look at Lumina, bruh. Those are DFCI characters. Dan is a DFCI character.
Oh, true. You're right.
True.
I think for me, I'm definitely gonna be playing Linne. I think she's like a really good character, and she has a lot of. She doesn't have too many weaknesses, and I think her new moves could really do a lot. I think the Kuga follow up, we have to see if it's like shieldable on reaction or not, or if you can like actually frame trap it, or if there's a gap. So, but I think like being able to frame trap after Kuga is really big. And then I definitely want to play Tsurugi. He looks like a lot of fun. I love his animations, and Big Shield is cool.
Dude, I didn't expect them to make him like a skater. Like I'm so in love.
Yeah, he has so much
with
swag.
that
It's
stuff.
very cool.
He's very swaggy.
And then also, I've been recently messing around with Gordeau a bit. I've always thought Gordeau is like the coolest character in the game, but I didn't want to play him because he wasn't very good. But if he's gonna be a lot better, then I'm a lot more enticed to play him.
Gordeau is I think the most well designed like character, and he's like, when I think of an Under Knight, like a character to describe what Under Knight is, I think of Gordeau. He like embodies Under Knight. That is an Under Knight character. Not every character fits that. Like Yuzu, that bitch ain't playing Under Knight, bro. she doing something different.
Just aesthetically, if I was going to show Unity to someone, I absolutely agree. I would not show someone Londrekia and be like, look, a Uni character, they're all like this. Like, nah. But
That's
yeah.
Gord.
Yeah, it's Gord.
So play Gordeau in the next version, guys. That's my TED talk to you.
Yeah, the conclusion of the last almost 3 hours of talking is to play Gordeau. So.
Yeah, looking forward to Gord Night 2024.
Time is a circle. Time is a circle because
we're going back to EL.
Yep, we're going back, baby. That's the best version of Uni. We're
Carmine
going back.
Top tier, Waldstein top tier, Gordeau, take me back.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining. Do you guys have any? Do you want to give yourself a little shout out before you go?
Yeah. So I guess I don't have a whole lot to shill, other than I'm gonna continue to look into system mechanics as we get closer. Maybe make some more Twitter threads, and I might start doing some like low maintenance streams on YouTube, especially once UNI2 comes out. So if you're interested in Lond or Vatista, and you want some sauce, then I got you.
I guess I'll shill a little bit of myself. I stream a lot. I stream this game pretty consistently.
Quite consistently, yeah.
So I can play the entire cast, essentially almost the entire cast. So you can follow me on Defiant Def, my Twitch. I can answer so many questions about characters for you. So if you want to come in and stop by and ask about something, and obviously I main Hyde and Lon. I haven't really been doing much with Hyde. Honestly, I haven't even been booting up the game and playing Hyde, but I am in heavy research mode for Lon right now. I'm getting this character ready for the next version. So if you're interested in maybe seeing some Lon stuff, I'm always looking for new things for this character right now. That's like what I'm doing. So you can just check my Twitter or when I stream, because that's the mode I'm in right now. So.
Okay. Well, I don't. I play the entire cast quite poorly right now, and I don't like developing things. So you can watch my stream if you just want to watch someone be cranky and fumble around on ranked. I stream on Twitch every once in a while. It's a good time. So, yeah.
I don't really stream much, but I like to go to a lot of the locals around here in my region. So there's usually like a monthly in Dallas. There's a tournament series going on down here in Houston that the first one was last night. There's going to be 2 more tournaments and then like a final tournament. And based off your results in the first 3 tournaments, there's going to be like a final day in that last tournament where people who scored the best in those first 3 tournaments are going to be going head to head against each other. It's called Chain Shift, so look out for that being streamed. And there's ranked nights on Wednesday nights if you want to net play the game. That's a good way to play people in your region. 7 p.m. your time zone. And yeah, I'll see you all on net play. I play this game too much.
Yeah, we all enjoy playing the game. You know, we've stuck with it through you know the darkest times of COVID. So
me and Tessa were born from the dark age. Well, I actually played ST like 7 months, I think, of ST, but that's when I grinded the game the most, is in the dark ages of Undernight.
Yeah, there's also a lot of new people trying the game right now, so it's a great time to hop in and, you know, maybe decide who you want to play before UNI2 comes out. But yeah, that's it for us. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me.
GG's.
Thank you.
Look, I hope you're looking forward to the lawn left right with roll in the next version, man, because it's happening.
If I get hit by that, I'm hitting Alt F4 immediately.
It's gonna be so awesome. Oh my god, I can't wait to rob
We went
people.
from lawn blue screen to this.